What if the darkness you seek to escape is not an adversary, but a sacred canvas? What if the stillness of the night holds not an emptiness to be feared, but a presence to be felt? A deep and knowing intelligence that waits for you to simply be still enough to listen. We spend our days in the blinding light, building, striving, defining ourselves by what we do, what we have, what we control. The mind becomes a city that never sleeps, its avenues crowded with past regrets and future anxieties, its air thick with the noise of endless commentary and judgment. You can feel it, can you not? A weariness that goes deeper than the muscles, a fatigue that settles in the soul. It is a modern exhaustion, an inner depletion that a few hours of unconsciousness can no longer replenish. We collapse into bed, hoping for an escape, but we bring the entire city with us. The noise continues. The echoes of the day reverberate in the quiet of the bedroom, and we wonder why peace feels so distant, why true rest is so elusive. Tonight, we will approach this differently. We will not fall into sleep. We will consciously enter it. Let us treat this time not as a shutdown of consciousness, but as a pilgrimage into it, a journey to a different kind of awareness, a different kind of knowing. I invite you to consider this space, this time, as a ritual, a sacred opportunity to gently lay down the heavy armor of the persona you wear all day. A chance to let the turbulent waters of the mind settle, to become as clear and still as a mountain lake after a storm, perfectly reflecting the vast, silent sky above. This is not about forcing the mind to be quiet. It is about creating the conditions for quiet to arise naturally. It is an act of surrender, of trusting that in this state of profound release, a deeper work can be done. A healing that you do not have to orchestrate, but simply allow. We are about to embark on an exploration, a gentle descent into the quiet landscape of your own being, guided by the whispers of ancient wisdom, to find the peace that is not built, but discovered. The journey begins now, with your very next breath. Let us begin here, in the quiet darkness, where the only sounds are the beating of your own heart and the hum of the world outside settling into slumber. And yet, for so many of us, this is not a place of silence. It is the moment the other sounds fade that an inner noise begins to rise, a relentless and clamorous chatter that can be more deafening than any external clamor. This is the echo chamber of the mind. You know this place intimately. It is a vast, invisible room where every worry, every fear, every unresolved conversation from the day or from a decade ago is thrown against the walls, only to bounce back louder, sharper, and more distorted with each reverberation. It is a hall of mirrors where you see 1,000 reflections of your own anxiety, each one whispering that it is the truth, that it is you. The desire for peace is immense, a deep physical yearning for the sweet oblivion of sleep. You feel it in your bones, in the weary weight of your eyelids. Yet, there is this other force, this automatic, churning machine of thought that seems to have a life of its own, holding you hostage on the shores of consciousness. This is the fundamental conflict of the restless soul, the profound wish for stillness fighting against the conditioned momentum of the mind. To find our way out, we must first understand the nature of this chamber and the architect who built it. The architect is your own mind, specifically the part we call the ego, the sense of a separate I. This I has a primal function: to protect you, to ensure your survival. It believes, with every fiber of its being, that by thinking, analyzing, rehearsing, and replaying, it can control the world and prevent pain. It is a tireless guardian, but its methods are outdated for the world we now inhabit. It replays that awkward conversation from work, trying to find a better response, as if winning the argument in your head tonight could somehow change the past. It rehearses a difficult talk you must have tomorrow, running through a dozen potential scenarios, believing that perfect preparation can eliminate all risk. It projects fears of failure, of loss, of illness, shining a spotlight on the worst possible outcomes because its ancient programming screams that to foresee danger is to survive it. This mechanism was brilliantly designed for a life of immediate physical threats, but it becomes a form of self-torture in a world of abstract, psychological anxieties. The mind does not know the difference between a real tiger in the bushes and the imagined threat of public speaking or financial uncertainty. The physiological response, the cascade of stress hormones, the alert, racing mind, is the same. And so, the guardian, in its misguided attempt to keep you safe, has built you a prison. The echo chamber is its fortress, and the echoes are its guards. The experience of being trapped in this chamber is profoundly isolating. You lie still in the dark, yet your mind is sprinting on a treadmill of its own making. There is a sense of powerlessness, of being a passenger in your own head, forced to listen to a broadcast you did not choose. This is where the suffering deepens. It is not just the content of the thoughts that is painful, but the feeling of being utterly entangled in them, identified with them. The thought arises, "I am not good enough," and the echo chamber screams it back, "Not good enough, not good enough," until the distinction between the initial thought and your sense of self dissolves. The thought, "What if something terrible happens?" becomes a visceral, physical reality in your body. Your heart beats faster, your palms sweat, your stomach tightens. You are living a catastrophe that has not occurred and may never occur, simply because the echo chamber has made it feel real. The deep longing for the off switch is a universal human cry in the dead of night. But what if there is no switch? What if the solution is not to silence the echoes, but to change your relationship to them entirely? Here lies the first ray of light, the first glimpse of a hidden doorway out of the chamber. It is a truth so simple, yet so profound that it can change everything. You are not your thoughts. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears the voice. You are the one who is aware of the thoughts. Let that sink in. There is the thought, a fleeting burst of mental energy, a pattern of words or images. And then there is you, the awareness in which that thought appears. They are not the same entity. The sky is not the cloud. The ocean is not the wave. The screen is not the movie playing upon it. For your entire life, you have been captivated by the movie, believing you are the character in peril, the hero in a desperate struggle. You have been so lost in the drama that you have forgotten that you are the silent, changeless, ever-present screen itself. The movie is chaotic, loud, and full of conflict. The screen is calm, spacious, and untouched by the drama. The echoes can only cause you to suffer as long as you believe you are the echo. The moment you recognize yourself as the space in which the echo happens, the power shifts. The echo may still be there, but it no longer defines you. It is just a sound passing through a vast, silent space. This recognition is not just a philosophical idea, it is a practice. It is something you can do right now, as you lie here. The practice is gentle, patient observation. When a thought arises, as it inevitably will, your task is not to fight it, not to suppress it, and not to follow it down its familiar, worn-out path. Your task is simply to notice it, to acknowledge its presence with a kind of detached curiosity. You can even label it, gently, in your mind. Planning. There is a memory. This is the feeling of worry. Notice how this simple act of labeling creates a space between you and the thought. You are no longer enmeshed in it, you are observing it. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river, and the thoughts are leaves floating by on the current. Some leaves are dark and heavy, some are light and fleeting. Your job is not to jump into the river and grab onto the leaves. It is not to try and stop the river from flowing. It is simply to sit, to watch the leaves come into view, and to watch them float away downstream. No judgment, no resistance. The worry leaf appears. You see it. You acknowledge it. You let it go. The rehearsal leaf appears. You see it. You let it go. You do not engage with the story of the leaf. You simply witness its passing. At first, this will feel difficult. The habit of a lifetime is to jump into the river. You will find yourself carried away by a thought for minutes at a time before you even realize it has happened. This is not a failure. This is part of the practice. The moment you realize you have been swept away is a moment of awakening. In that moment, you have stepped back onto the riverbank. You have remembered that you are the watcher, not the thought. You gently, without self-criticism, return your attention to the simple act of watching. Each time you do this, you weaken the spell of the echo chamber. You are chipping away at the walls of your prison, not with a sledgehammer of force, but with the gentle, persistent light of your own awareness. You are teaching your mind, through patient practice, that you are no longer a captive audience for its endless drama. You are the silent witness, the vast, peaceful sky against which the clouds of thought drift. The echoes may continue for some time, for their momentum is strong, but you will begin to notice they have less power. Their edges become softer. The space between them grows wider. In these widening gaps of silence, true rest is found. In this stillness, healing begins. You have found the door out of the chamber. It was not a door to another place. It was a shift in perception, a reclaiming of your true identity as the silent, aware presence that you have always been. Now that we have found this doorway, let us look more closely at the material that creates these echoes, the two great ghosts that haunt the chamber, the weight of yesterday and the fear of tomorrow. Having found the doorway of awareness, we can now look with clarity upon the echoes that reverberate within the chamber of the mind. And as we listen with this newfound stillness, we begin to notice that nearly every single echo, every thought that disturbs our peace, speaks in one of two languages, the language of yesterday or the language of tomorrow. The mind is a relentless time traveler, perpetually abandoning the present moment, the only place where life is actually happening, to take up residence in the ghost towns of the past or the imagined landscapes of the future. This is the great prison of time, a confinement so pervasive we often do not even recognize its walls. We are shackled by two great, invisible weights. One is the heavy stone of everything that has already been. The other is the dense fog of everything that has yet to come. Tonight, we learn to put them down. Let us first speak of yesterday. The mind clings to the past in so many ways. It clings through regret, replaying scenes over and over, editing the dialogue, wishing for a different outcome, punishing itself for words spoken or actions taken. It is like a film director forced to watch the same flawed movie every night, obsessed with reshooting a scene that can never be changed. The energy this consumes is immense. The mind also clings through nostalgia, polishing certain memories until they shine with a light they never truly possessed, creating a golden age that makes the present feel pale and insufficient. It clings through resentment and grievance, carrying old wounds as if they were fresh, keeping the story of how it was wronged alive and burning. This story becomes a core part of its identity, a justification for its current unhappiness. Whether the memories are painful or pleasurable, the mechanism is the same. The mind is trying to find itself in what is gone. It is searching for life in a graveyard. Feel this weight in your own being. It is the heaviness in your chest, the tightness in your throat. It is the burden of carrying 1,000 yesterdays on your back and wondering why you are too tired to move forward. This weight is an anchor, cast deep into the seabed of memory, holding your ship of consciousness fast while the liberating ocean of sleep calls to you. You cannot sail into the deep, restorative waters of the night if you are tethered to a shore that no longer exists. Then there is the other anchor, the one cast not into the past, but into the void of the future. This is the realm of fear, of anxiety, of endless planning and projection. The mind, in its terror of the unknown, tries to colonize tomorrow. It generates endless what-if scenarios, almost always skewed toward the negative. What if I fail? What if they leave me? What if I get sick? What if I make the wrong choice? Each of these questions is a seed, and from it, the mind grows a vivid, detailed world of potential suffering. You then react to this imagined world with real emotion. You feel genuine fear because of a fiction. You experience real anxiety over a catastrophe that is happening only on the screen of your mind. This is a profound form of madness, yet it is considered normal. The mind believes that by worrying, it is doing something productive. It mistakes the friction of anxiety for the work of preparation. But this is an illusion. Worrying does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It only empties today of its strength. You are living in a state of constant, low-grade emergency, your nervous system perpetually on alert for a danger that exists only as a thought. This relentless forward projection is exhausting. It is like trying to navigate a ship through a dense, shapeless fog, constantly bracing for impact with rocks that may not even be there. You are so focused on the terrifying shapes in the mist ahead that you cannot feel the solid deck beneath your feet. You cannot hear the steady rhythm of the waves. You cannot see the stars that are, in this very moment, shining brightly above the fog. This constant journeying into past and future is not a harmless mental habit. It is a theft. It robs you of the only thing you ever truly have, the present moment. Your life is a sequence of nows. It is only ever now. The past was a now when it happened. The future will be a now when it arrives. But by dwelling in memory or fantasy, you render yourself absent from your own life. You eat a meal, but you do not taste it, because your mind is chewing on an old resentment. You walk in nature, but you do not see the trees, because your mind is consumed with a deadline 2 weeks away. You lie down to sleep, a sacred moment of surrender, but you are not there, because your mind is conducting a trial for yesterday's mistakes or preparing a defense for tomorrow's challenges. Peace, healing, and joy are not found in the past or the future. They are qualities of present moment awareness. They are here, now, in the simple sensation of the breath entering your body, in the feeling of the blankets against your skin, in the quiet hum of the night. But you cannot experience them if you are not here to receive them. The prison of time ensures you are always somewhere else, a ghost haunting the corridors of your own existence. The liberation from this prison begins with a simple, conscious act of release. It is a ritual you can perform every single night, a declaration of your intent to inhabit the now. As you lie here, ready for sleep, I invite you to perform this ritual with me. First, bring your awareness to the weight of yesterday. Gather up all the regrets, the resentments, the things you wish you had said or done differently. Feel them coalesce into a single object in your mind. Perhaps it is a heavy, dark stone. Feel its texture, its coldness, its density. In your mind's eye, see yourself holding this stone in your hand. Acknowledge what it represents. Thank it for the lessons it may have taught you, for the strength you may have gained from carrying it. And then, with a conscious out-breath, open your hand and let it drop. Hear the thud as it hits the floor beside your bed. It is not your burden to carry into the sacred space of sleep. It is released. Now, bring your awareness to the fear of tomorrow. Gather up all the worries, the plans, the anxieties about what is to come. See them form into a thick, swirling fog. Watch as this fog condenses in your other hand, perhaps into a tightly wound knot of rope, representing all the problems you are trying to control and solve. Feel the tension in this knot. Acknowledge the part of you that created it, the part that is just trying to feel safe. And then, with another conscious out-breath, allow your hand to go limp. Feel the knot unravel completely, the rope falling away, its tension dissolving into nothingness. It is not your task to solve tomorrow's problems in your sleep. That is a task for tomorrow's grace. You are here, now, free from the two anchors that held you captive. You are a ship floating in the vast, calm harbor of the present moment. The waters are still. The sky is clear. This is the only point of power. This is the only point of peace. When the mind, out of old habit, tries to cast out one of the anchors again, and it will, you can now recognize the process. You can see the arm moving to throw the stone of the past. You can see the hand reaching for the fog of the future, and with gentle awareness, you can simply choose not to. You can choose to remain here, in the stillness. This practice of letting go, night after night, is transformative. It teaches your entire being that sleep is a sanctuary of the now, a place where time dissolves. You are giving your body, your mind, and your soul permission to be fully present, and it is in this presence that the deepest healing occurs. As you rest in this anchorless freedom, you may begin to wonder why the mind was so desperate to cling to time in the first place. This clinging is a symptom of a much deeper belief, a foundational illusion that fuels so much of our struggle, the illusion that we are in control. We have laid down the anchors of yesterday and tomorrow, freeing ourselves from the prison of time. And in the quiet space that remains, a deeper question arises. Why was the mind so desperate to cling to them in the first place? Why does it endlessly sift through the ashes of the past or venture into the mists of the future? The answer lies at the very heart of our human suffering. It is because the mind, the entity we call the ego, is possessed by a profound, relentless, and ultimately futile desire. The desire for control. At the root of every anxious thought, every sleepless night, every ounce of tension held in your body is the foundational belief that if you could just manage everything perfectly, you would be safe, you would be happy, you would be whole. This is the great illusion of control, and to see it for what it is to take a giant leap toward freedom. Let us examine this illusion with compassion. The need for control is not a character flaw. It is a primal instinct born from our ancient past. For the ego, the I that feels separate from the world, the unknown is synonymous with danger. Uncertainty feels like a threat to its very existence. Therefore, its primary strategy is to eliminate the unknown. It tries to control people's perceptions of you, so you will always be accepted. It tries to control the outcomes of your projects, so you will never fail. It tries to control the feelings of your loved ones, so you will never be abandoned. It functions like a frantic puppet master, pulling on 1,000 strings, believing that its constant vigilance is the only thing keeping the entire show from collapsing into chaos. This is the source of the mental time travel we just explored. The mind revisits the past to learn how to better control the future. It rehearses the future to avoid the mistakes of the past. It is a closed loop, a feedback cycle of anxiety driven by the desperate need to be the master of a universe that has never, not for one moment, asked for a master. And when you lie down at night, the one time you are supposed to relinquish control, the puppet master panics. In the stillness, it has no strings to pull, no show to direct. And so it turns its frantic energy inward, rehearsing, replaying, and worrying, all in a desperate attempt to maintain the illusion of being in charge. This war against the natural unfolding of life is utterly exhausting. It is a battle you can never win, yet you have been conditioned to fight it every single day. Feel the cost of this battle in your own body. It is the permanent tension in your shoulders, as if you are physically bracing for an impact that never comes. It is the shallow breath held high in your chest, a body that has forgotten how to fully exhale and let go. It is the clenched jaw, grinding away at the problems of the day even in the dead of night. Mentally, the toll is even greater. It is the draining fatigue of trying to keep a dozen plates spinning in the air at once. It is the emotional whiplash of being elated when things go your way and devastated when they do not. This constant effort creates a state of deep inner friction. You are trying to swim against the current of a powerful river. You kick and splash and struggle with all your might, believing that your effort is what keeps you from drowning. You may even make a little headway, which reinforces the belief that your struggle is working. But you are growing tired, so deeply tired. The river, however, does not tire. The river is life itself, in all its unpredictable, untamable, and magnificent power. The river flows where it will. Your struggle does not change the river's course. It only depletes your own life force. Here we arrive at one of the most misunderstood and yet most powerful spiritual concepts: surrender. In the language of the ego, surrender means defeat. It means weakness, giving up, losing the fight. But in the language of wisdom, surrender is the highest form of strength. It is not giving up, it is giving over. It is the courageous act of aligning yourself with the flow of reality rather than fighting against it. It is the profound recognition that your personal will is a tiny boat in the currents of a vast ocean, and that true navigation comes not from fighting the waves, but from learning how to set your sails to work with them. Imagine yourself in that river, exhausted from the fight. Surrender is the moment you decide to stop struggling. You simply let go. You turn over onto your back. You take a deep breath, and you float. You allow the current to carry you. For the ego, this is terrifying. Where will it take me? What if there are rocks ahead? But in that moment of floating, something miraculous happens. The energy you were wasting on the fight is now available to you. Your senses open up. You can feel the temperature of the water. You can see the sky above. You can hear the birds on the shore. You are no longer at war with the river. You have become one with its movement. You have not given up your power. You have access to power far greater than your own. This is surrender. It is the end of resistance. And in the absence of resistance, peace is what remains. This shift from fighting to floating is not just a metaphor, it is a tangible practice. It is a choice you can make in any given moment, and it can be anchored by a simple internal mantra. As you lie here, feeling the pull of the mind to control and manage, you can introduce these 3 words like a soothing balm. I allow, I trust, I release. Let's feel into each word. First, I allow. This is the cessation of war. It means, for this moment, I will stop fighting what is. I will let this situation, this feeling, this thought be exactly as it is. It does not mean you approve of it or want it to stay forever. It simply means you are dropping the rope in the tug-of-war with reality. You stop adding the secondary layer of suffering that comes from resisting what is already here. The first arrow is the pain of the situation. The second arrow, which is far more painful, is the one you shoot into yourself by resisting it. I allow means you remove that second arrow. Second, I trust. This is the most courageous part. It is an act of faith. It is trusting that even if you don't understand it, even if you don't like it, there is an intelligence to the flow of the river. It is trusting that you have the inner resources to handle this present moment, and that you will have the resources to handle the next moment when it arrives. It is a deep letting go of the need to have all the answers. It is a shift from the mind's frantic need for certainty to the heart's quiet capacity for resilience. Trust is the willingness to float without knowing the final destination, having faith in the journey itself. Finally, I release. This is the active letting go. With your breath, you consciously release the tension from your body. You release your grip on a desired outcome. You release the storyline of how things should be. You release the identity of the puppet master, the problem solver, the one who has to hold it all together. You exhale the immense burden of being in charge of the universe. I allow, I trust, I release. Let this be your lullaby. Let it be the gentle current that carries you from the rocky shores of control into the deep, calm waters of sleep. When you begin to practice this surrender, you will notice how deeply the habit of control is ingrained. You will see how it manifests not only in your thoughts, but in your actions. And you will discover that one of its primary expressions, one of the main ways we act out this desperate need for control, is through the cult of constant activity. We create an armor of busyness to shield ourselves from the terrifying and liberating truth that we are not, and have never been, in control. And it is this armor that we must now examine, for it is often too heavy to allow us the rest we so desperately seek. You have learned to surrender your grip on the river of life, to release the exhausting illusion of control. And in that release, you may feel a momentary peace, but then, perhaps, something else arises. A flicker of panic, a sense of emptiness. What fills the space once occupied by the ceaseless effort of control? For most of us, the answer is noise. We have become masters of distraction, experts in the art of being occupied. We tell ourselves it is productivity, that it is connection, that it is essential. But if we are truly honest, in the quietest hours of the night, when all the world is asleep, we can feel the true nature of our busyness. It is not an engine of progress, it is a suit of armor, a heavy, clanking, suffocating armor we wear to protect ourselves from a silence we have learned to fear. This armor is forged in the fires of the modern world. It is hammered into shape by the relentless demands of a society that glorifies exhaustion as a badge of honor. We are conditioned to believe that a full calendar means a full life, that to be still is to be lazy, to be unproductive, to be left behind. The flickering blue light of a screen calls to us, promising an endless scroll of information, connection, and validation. A stream so constant it prevents any single uncomfortable thought from taking root. Our work follows us home, whispering demands into our evenings. Even our leisure is loud, filled with series to be binged, podcasts to be consumed, experiences to be had, and then immediately catalogued for public view. The cacophony is relentless, and we have become addicted to it. We use this noise, this constant state of doing, to build a wall between ourselves and the vast, silent continent of our own inner world. What are we so afraid of finding in that silence? What phantom does this armor protect us from? For some, it is the ghost of unresolved grief. For others, the nagging voice of a dream we abandoned long ago. It might be the profound loneliness that 1,000 online friends cannot touch, or the quiet, terrifying question, is this all there is? We keep moving, keep scrolling, keep working, keep talking, so we do not have to feel the weight of these truths. We wear the armor of busyness to avoid the vulnerability of our own hearts, to shield ourselves from the raw, unfiltered experience of being. The armor gives us a role, a purpose, an identity. I am busy, therefore I am important. I am productive, therefore I have value. But this armor is a prison. It is heavy, it restricts our breath, it dulls our senses, and at the end of the day, it leaves us utterly, profoundly, soul-deep, exhausted. This is the central conflict of the modern seeker. You feel the crushing weight of the armor. You feel the spirit-level fatigue that no amount of coffee can fix and no vacation can truly cure. There is a part of you, a deep and wise part, that craves nothing more than to lay it all down, to simply be still, to breathe. Yet the habit, the conditioning, the fear is so strong. The moment there is a gap, an unfilled space, the hand reflexively reaches for the phone, the mind immediately jumps to the next problem on the list. The need to feel valuable through constant action is at war with the soul's desperate cry for rest. You are wired and tired, overstimulated and undernourished, and you come to your bed at night, not as a peaceful traveler ready for rest, but as a weary soldier, collapsing under the weight of his own defenses, knowing that the battle will begin again at dawn. But here is the message that waits for you in the stillness you have been avoiding. Here is the key to unbuckling the armor, piece by piece. The silence you fear is not empty. It is not a void. It is not an absence. That is the greatest illusion of the noisy world. Silence is presence. It is a fullness, a richness, a space that is pregnant with potential. The emptiness you fear is not a barren wasteland. It is fertile ground. It is the soil from which all true insight, creativity, and healing can finally grow. The noise distracts. The silence reveals. The noise exhausts. The silence restores. The noise is a scattered, frantic energy. The silence is a coherent, centered power. Everything you are searching for in the world of doing, peace, clarity, connection, purpose is waiting for you in the world of being. Tonight, as you lie here, you are invited to perform a sacred act, the act of disarmament. See this armor of busyness that you have worn all day. Feel its weight on your chest, your shoulders. See the helmet of worry, the breastplate of responsibility, the gauntlets of endless tasks. And now, with intention, begin to take it off. One by one, unbuckle the straps. Let the heavy plates fall away onto the floor. It is not your job to carry them through the night. The world and its demands can wait. They are not you. You are not your job, your to-do list, your social media profile. You are the vulnerable, living, breathing being underneath it all. As the last piece of armor falls away, imagine you can feel the gentle air of the room on your skin for the first time. This is the sensation of coming home to yourself. This is the vulnerability that is the prerequisite for true healing. There is nothing to defend, nothing to prove. There is only this moment, only this breath. To learn the language of silence, you must practice it. You do not have to wait for a retreat on a mountaintop. You can begin now by creating small, intentional pockets of stillness in your everyday life. This is a radical act, a rebellion against the tyranny of noise. Find 5 minutes in your day, just 5. Go to a quiet room, or simply turn away from your screen. Sit on a chair, close your eyes, do nothing. This is the instruction. Do not try to meditate. Do not try to achieve a peaceful state. Do not try to fix or solve anything. Simply give yourself permission to exist without a task for 300 seconds. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Hear the sounds in the room without labeling them. Notice the urge to get up, to do something, and simply notice it without obeying it. In these 5 minutes, you are teaching your nervous system, your very cells, that silence is not a threat. You are teaching yourself that you are safe when you are still. You are creating a tiny sanctuary that you can return to, a small tear in the fabric of your busyness through which the light of being can shine. These small pockets of silence are your training. They are how you build the muscle of presence. They prepare you for the deeper stillness of the night. For taking off the armor is not a clumsy, rushed collapse into bed. To truly benefit from the healing power of sleep, the disarmament must be followed by a moment of transition, a conscious, hallowed space between the world of doing and the world of being. Before you are carried into the depths of sleep, you must first learn to stand at its shore. You must learn to honor the sacred pause. And it is in that pause, that gentle gateway between worlds, that the true magic of this journey begins. You have laid down the armor, you have allowed the heavy plates of busyness and duty to fall away, and you stand, vulnerable and present, at the edge of the night. But the journey into the healing darkness is not a leap off a cliff. It is a gentle, conscious entry through a sacred doorway. We have forgotten this. We treat the passage into sleep as a frantic, clumsy affair. We stay immersed in the noise and the light of the day, the screen, the work, the worry until the very last second, when exhaustion finally pulls us under. We fall into bed as if tripping over a wire, tumbling unconsciously into our rest, carrying all the frantic energy, all the unresolved conversations, all the digital residue of the day with us. And so, we do not land in a peaceful sanctuary. We crash land in a restless landscape where the mind continues its frantic work even as the body lies still. We dream the dreams of anxiety. We toss and turn with the echoes of our waking life, and we wonder why we wake up feeling as if we have not rested at all. We have not rested because we have not arrived. We have simply been rendered unconscious. The body and the mind crave a different approach. They long for a gentle descent, a graceful transition from the world of doing to the world of being. This transition is the sacred pause. It is not an emptiness. It is not wasted time. It is perhaps the most potent and healing part of your entire day. It is a conscious, deliberate act of drawing a line. On one side of this line is the day, with all its demands and complexities. On the other side is the night, with all its mystery and potential for restoration. The sacred pause is the act of consciously stepping over that line. It is the moment you declare, with quiet authority, that the day is done. The work is finished. The striving is over. You are now entering hallowed time. Think of it as the twilight of the mind. In the outer world, twilight is a magical liminal space. It is neither fully day nor fully night. The harsh, analytical light of the sun has softened, and the deep, mysterious darkness of the cosmos has not yet fully taken hold. Colors deepen. The world grows quiet. The air itself seems to shimmer with a different quality. This is what the sacred pause creates for your inner world. It is a period where the bright, sharp, logical mind of the day is allowed to soften, and the deeper, more intuitive, receptive consciousness of the night is invited to emerge. It is an alchemical moment where the raw materials of your daily experience can begin to settle, separate, and be transformed. Without this twilight period, you simply drag the glare of the noonday sun into the midnight realm, and it burns away the delicate fabric of your peace. The pull of habit will fight you on this. It is a powerful current. As the day ends, the mind, conditioned for constant stimulation, will scream for one last hit, one last email check, one last scroll through the lives of others, one last episode of a show that numbs the soul. This is the inner conflict, the voice of wisdom that says, "It is time to be still," versus the voice of addiction that says, "Just one more thing." Recognize this pull for what it is. It is not you. It is a neurological pattern, a deep groove carved by years of practice. It is the ego's fear of silence, its terror at the thought of losing its grip, of dissolving into the quiet dark. Your task is not to fight this urge with brute force, but to meet it with gentle, unwavering intention. To smile at it, acknowledge its presence, and then consciously choose a different path. To choose the path of the pause. So, how do you practice this? It begins with a decision. You decide that the last 30 minutes, or even just 15 minutes, before you intend to be asleep, belong to you and to your soul. This time is non-negotiable. It is a sacred appointment you keep with yourself. You begin by changing your environment. Dim the lights. Turn your phone to silent and place it face down, far from your bed. If you can, turn off the Wi-Fi router. Send a powerful, energetic signal to your mind and to the universe that you are now closing the door to the outer world. And in this newly created sanctuary, you choose a quiet companion for your journey. This is not a time for consuming thrilling new information or engaging in complex problem solving. It is a time for resonance. Perhaps you pick up a book of wisdom, the words of the Stoics, the poetry of Rumi, the sutras of a Buddhist master. You do not read to conquer the book, or even to remember every word. You read a single page, a single paragraph, allowing the words to wash over you, letting their frequency tune your own. You are not seeking knowledge, you are seeking resonance. You are finding a note of peace and allowing your own being to vibrate with it. Or perhaps you choose sound. Not music with lyrics that engage the analytical mind, but sound that soothes the nervous system. The gentle drone of a singing bowl, the sound of rain falling. Ambient, instrumental music that feels like a warm bath for the mind. You lie or sit, and you let the sound wash through you, cleansing you of the day's frantic chatter. You are allowing yourself to be held by the sound, to be carried on its gentle waves closer to the shore of sleep. Maybe you choose to take out a simple journal. You do not write to document the day's events in a logical sequence. You write to release them. You might practice gratitude, writing down 3 things from the day, no matter how small, that you are truly thankful for. As you write, you feel the emotion of that gratitude in your body. This practice is a powerful way to shift your focus from what is wrong to what is right, from scarcity to abundance, just before you enter the subconscious realm. Or you might simply write down any lingering worries, externalizing them onto the page so that you do not have to carry them with you into your dreams. You are emptying the vessel of the mind, preparing it to be filled with peace. And perhaps the most powerful practice of all is to simply do nothing, to sit in the quiet, dimmed room, to feel your breath moving in and out of your body, to simply be. In this silence, things will arise. The mind will offer you thoughts, memories, plans. You do not engage them. You do not push them away. You let them be, like dust motes dancing in a moonbeam. You are practicing the art of allowing. You are becoming the silent, spacious awareness in which everything can come and go without disturbance. You are acclimating yourself to the stillness that is your true nature. This is the gateway. Each of these practices is a key. Find the one that feels right for you tonight. There is no right or wrong way. There is only your way. As you engage in this sacred pause, you are fundamentally changing your relationship with the night. You are no longer collapsing into it. You are entering it with reverence. You are treating sleep not as a biological necessity you must surrender to, but as a sacred pilgrimage you are consciously embarking upon. You are the keeper of this gateway, and you are deciding what you allow to pass through. You are leaving the mud and the dust of the day's journey outside the door. This pause, this twilight of the mind, is the perfect fertile ground for our next exploration. For once you have quieted the external world, you become more keenly aware of the internal one. The thoughts and feelings that bubble up in the silence are not random noise. They are the very clouds we must learn to observe. They are the fabric of impermanence, of Anicca, weaving themselves through your consciousness. By creating this sacred pause, you have prepared the canvas. You have stilled the air. Now, you are ready to watch with newfound clarity as the wisdom of impermanence reveals itself, painting its fleeting, profound pictures across the sky of your mind. You have stepped through the gateway. You have entered the hallowed twilight of the sacred pause. Here, in this quiet sanctuary you have created, the clamor of the external world fades to a distant hum, and in its place, another landscape reveals itself. The inner world, with the distractions silenced, you can now perceive the subtle, ceaseless movement of your own consciousness. A memory surfaces, unbidden. A flicker of anxiety about tomorrow pulses in your chest. A line from a song loops through your mind. A feeling of peace arises, and close behind it, the fear that this peace will not last. This is the natural state of the untended mind, a constant flowing stream of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Our instinct, forged from a lifetime of conditioning, is to engage this stream. We leap into it. We grab onto a pleasant thought and try to hold it. We wrestle with a painful emotion and try to drown it. We become so enmeshed in the currents that we believe we are the river, and this is the root of our sleeplessness. This is the source of the friction that prevents our souls from settling into the deep, restorative quiet they so desperately need. Tonight, you are invited to learn a different way. You are invited to learn the wisdom of Anicca. It is an ancient word from the Pali language, and it holds within it one of the most profound and liberating truths available to us. Anicca means impermanence. It is the universal law that states that everything is in a constant state of flux. Nothing is fixed, nothing is solid. The universe, from the spinning of galaxies to the firing of a neuron in your brain, is a great, unending dance of arising and passing away. The mountain is slowly being worn down by the wind. The star you see in the sky may have died 1,000,000 years ago. The joy you felt this morning has already transformed into a memory. The person you were 1 year ago does not exist anymore. All things are transient. All things are flowing. Now, the thinking mind may hear this and feel a sense of tragedy, a sense of loss. But the deep, quiet wisdom within you recognizes this not as a curse, but as a key to freedom. Almost all of our human suffering, the deep, agonizing, soul-level suffering, comes from one single futile act, our rebellion against the law of Anicca. We crave permanence in a universe that is defined by change. We want our happiness to be a fixed state. We want our relationships to be stable and predictable. We want our sense of self to be a solid, unbreakable statue. We build our lives as if on solid rock, and then we are shattered with grief and despair when the ground inevitably shifts beneath our feet, for the ground was never rock. It was always a flowing river. Your struggle to fall asleep is this cosmic battle in miniature. You want a permanent state of peace right now. You demand that the anxiety you feel be gone forever. You are at war with the present moment, trying to nail it down, to fix it, to make it something other than what it is. This struggle is exhausting. It is the opposite of rest. The wisdom of Anicca offers a path of non-resistance. It invites you to see your inner world not as a battlefield, but as a natural landscape governed by its own weather patterns. And the most powerful way to experience this is through a simple yet profound shift in metaphor. Your mind is not a thing. It is not your thoughts. Your mind, your true nature, is the sky. It is the vast, open, boundless space of awareness in which all experience happens. It is silent. It is still. It is inherently peaceful. It has always been here, and it will always be here. It is the backdrop to your entire life. And your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings and sensations, they are the clouds. They are the weather of your mind. They arise in the vastness of the sky. They linger for a while, and they inevitably dissolve and pass away. Some days, the sky of your mind is filled with light, puffy, white clouds of happiness and pleasant memories. Other days, it is covered by a thick, grey blanket of sadness. Sometimes, a sudden, violent thunderstorm of anger or fear can roll in, with flashes of lightning and the roar of thunder. We become terrified of this weather. When the dark clouds gather, we believe the sky itself has become dark. We believe we are the storm. We forget that behind every cloud, no matter how dark or menacing, the vast, clear blue sky remains unchanged, unstained, and utterly unharmed. The sky does not fight the clouds. It does not cling to the white ones or try to push away the dark ones. It simply allows them to be. It provides the space for them to arise, to exist, and to pass. This is the practice, to become the sky. So, as you lie here now, in the quiet of your room, begin to embody this. Feel the vast, open, peaceful quality of the sky that is your own awareness. And then, simply watch the weather. A thought about a work project appears. Ah, a cloud. You don't have to climb into the cloud and get lost in its story. You can simply note its presence from the ground of your being. A thinking cloud. And you watch as it drifts, changes shape, and eventually moves on. A wave of anxiety tightens your chest. A dark storm cloud. Instead of panicking and thinking, I am anxious, I have to get rid of this, you can shift your perspective. Ah, the weather of anxiety is passing through the sky of my awareness. You feel the physical sensations, the tightness, the rapid heartbeats, the pure energy of the cloud, without adding a story to it. You simply watch. There is a simple, powerful mantra you can use to aid this practice. When a particularly difficult thought or a painful emotion arises, you can whisper to yourself, in your mind, "This too shall pass." This is not wishful thinking. It is not a denial of your present experience. It is a statement of profound truth. It is an acknowledgement of the law of Anicca. When you feel joy, you can whisper, "This too shall pass," which allows you to appreciate it fully without the desperation of clinging. When you feel sorrow, you whisper, "This too shall pass," which allows you to endure it with grace, knowing it is a temporary visitor, not a permanent resident. You are reminding yourself that you are the sky, and this feeling is just a cloud. You are allowing the weather of your life to flow without resistance. In the beginning, this feels like work. The habit of identifying with the clouds is incredibly strong. You will get swept up in the storm again and again. You will forget you are the sky. This is not a failure. It is part of the process. The moment you realize you have been lost in a thought, that very moment of realizing is a moment of awakening. In that instant, you are the sky again, looking at the cloud. Simply begin again. Come back to your breath. Come back to the feeling of the vast, open sky of awareness. Watch the next cloud drift by. With practice, the spaces between the clouds will grow longer. You will begin to experience the profound peace of the sky itself, the silence that is your true home. You will discover that you can be at peace even while a storm is raging. The peace is not in having a perfectly clear sky. The peace is in knowing that you are the sky. This practice of observing impermanence has a profound implication. As you watch the endless parade of thoughts, feelings, memories, and sensations arise and pass away, a question naturally forms in the quiet space you have created. If I am not my thoughts, because I can watch them. If I am not my emotions, because I can feel them pass. If I am not my body, because its sensations are constantly changing, then who am I? What is this silent, unchanging awareness that is witnessing all of this? By ceasing to identify with the fleeting clouds, you have stumbled upon the great mystery of the sky. You have prepared the ground for an even deeper liberation, a teaching that strikes at the very root of the self you thought you were. You are ready to explore the freedom of Anatta, the liberation of no self. You are resting in the vast sky of your own awareness. You have watched the clouds of thought and emotion drift by, and you have tasted the profound peace that comes from not clinging to them, from not believing you are them. This practice inevitably leads to the most fundamental question a human being can ask. If I am not my thoughts, and not my emotions, and not my body's sensations, then who or what am I? This question is the doorway to our deepest freedom. It is a question that the mind cannot answer, for the mind is the cloud maker. To find the answer, we must be willing to look beyond the mind, to dissolve the very foundation of the self we have always taken for granted. This is the path of Anatta, the wisdom of no self. At first, the term no self can sound terrifying. It sounds like annihilation, like a cold, empty void. This is a misunderstanding. It is the ego's interpretation, for the ego fears its own dissolution above all else. But Anatta is not about becoming nothing. It is about realizing you are everything. It is not an erasure. It is an expansion. It is the ultimate unburdening, the final laying down of the heaviest weight you have ever carried. The story of me. Let us gently examine this me, this self you feel you are. What is it made of? Is it your name? Your name was given to you by others and can be changed. Is it your body? Your body is a colony of trillions of cells, constantly dying and being replaced, a river of biological processes that is different from moment to moment. Is it your job or your roles: parent, child, artist, worker? These are temporary costumes you wear, changing with the seasons of your life. Is it your memories? Your memories are selective, often inaccurate, edited stories of a past that no longer exists. Is it your beliefs and opinions? These are thoughts you have collected from your culture, your family, your experiences, thoughts that you cling to, but they are still just clouds passing through the sky of your mind. When you look closely, you cannot find a solid, permanent, independent I anywhere. What you find is a collection, a bundle of processes, a bundle of thoughts, feelings, memories, and sensations, all changing from moment to moment. And what holds this bundle together? The glue of habit, the habit of thinking, this is me, this is my story. This constructed self, this bundle of thoughts, is the ego. It is a necessary tool for navigating the world, but we have mistaken the tool for the user. We have mistaken the fictional character for the author. And this fictional character lives in a state of constant insecurity. Because it is not real, it spends all of its energy trying to prove that it is. It needs to be right. It needs to be recognized. It needs to feel special, better than, or sometimes worse than, others. It lives in a world of comparison, of judgment, of fear. This ego is the source of your anxiety. It is the part of you that feels offended. It is the part of you that needs to control everything. It is the part of you that replays past grievances and rehearses future conflicts. It is the voice in your head that never stops talking, that criticizes you and others, that tells you you are not good enough. The constant effort of maintaining, defending, and propping up this fragile, constructed self is the single greatest cause of exhaustion in human life. It is the very reason you lie here tonight, yearning for a peace it can never give you. Herein lies the conflict that tears you apart. A deep, quiet part of your being, your soul, longs for peace, for connection, for an end to the struggle. It yearns to dissolve back into the ocean of existence. But the ego fights for its life. It screams, "No, I must survive. I must be separate. I matter." And so you are torn. You want to let go, but you are terrified of what will happen if you do. Now, listen closely. You already have a direct, intimate experience of the liberation of Anatta every single night. It is called deep, dreamless sleep. Think of it. When you are in that profound state of rest, where is the you that is worried about the mortgage? Where is the I that is angry with a family member? Where is the self that is consumed by ambition or crippled by regret? It is gone. It has utterly dissolved. And in its place, is there terror? Is there a black void? Number. There is perfect peace. There is profound restoration. There is a silent, formless, pure being. You do not cease to exist. You simply cease to be a problem. You cease to be a separate, struggling self. You return to your source. Anatta is not a foreign state you must strive for. It is your natural state, your home, to which you return every night without fail. The practice is to learn to let go and enter that state consciously, without fear. The metaphor is this. During the day, with the energy of your thoughts, you build an intricate sandcastle on the shore of consciousness. This is your ego. You build its walls of belief, its towers of accomplishment, its moats of defense. You spend all your waking hours decorating it, protecting it from the wind, from other people, from the waves. It is a beautiful but exhausting creation. As evening comes and you lie down to rest, the great gentle ocean of the universe begins its tidal rhythm. Sleep is this tide. It does not come to destroy your castle with violence. It comes to lovingly reclaim it. The waves of sleep lap gently at the walls, and the sandcastle of me begins to soften, to blur, to dissolve. Each grain of sand, each thought, each memory, each rollies washed clean and returned to the vast, boundless ocean of pure being. There is no struggle, there is only a return to wholeness. The problem is that we often fall asleep clinging to the highest tower of our castle, terrified of the tide, and so the dissolution feels like a frightening fall instead of a gentle surrender. Tonight, you can practice this surrender. As you lie here, heavy and warm in your bed, you can consciously invite the tide. Begin with the physical form. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the mattress. Feel the pull of gravity, the great embrace of the earth. Now, imagine that the boundaries of your body are beginning to soften. The clear, sharp line that separates your skin from the air around you begins to blur. Imagine your hands are made of water, melting into the sheets. Imagine your legs are made of smoke, becoming one with the quiet darkness of the room. Let the sense of a solid, separate body begin to dissolve. There is no effort in this. It is a letting go. You are giving the universe permission to reclaim you. Now, feel your consciousness expanding beyond the confines of your skull. Feel your awareness fill the room. Then expand further, beyond the room, filling the entire house, the entire neighborhood. Feel your sense of I becoming vast, spacious, and unbound. You are not a small, fragile self locked inside a body. You are the stillness of the room. You are the silence of the night. You are the vast, peaceful darkness itself. When thoughts arise, see them not as your thoughts, but as tiny ripples on the surface of this infinite ocean of being that you are. Let them come and let them go. You remain, vast and deep and still. By letting go of the need to be somebody, you become free. By dissolving the sandcastle, you realize you are the entire ocean. This is the great liberation of Anatta. It is the end of suffering, because when there is no fixed me, who is there to suffer? Who is there to be insulted? Who is there to be afraid? From this vast, open perspective, your entire relationship with life's difficulties can now transform. The pain that you once called mine is no longer a personal attack. It is no longer a thorn in the paw of a small, frightened creature. It becomes an impersonal energy, a wave in the great ocean of existence. It becomes a teacher, a sacred messenger, and now, unburdened by the need to defend a self that was never real, you are finally ready to listen, without fear, to what it has come to teach you. You are resting in the boundless ocean of being. You have felt the solid self, the story of me, dissolve back into the vastness from which it came. From this place of spaciousness, of no self, we can now turn to face one of life's greatest mysteries and challenges, the experience of pain and suffering. When there is no fixed, fragile I to defend, our entire relationship to pain begins to transform. It ceases to be a personal attack and reveals itself as something far more profound, an intelligent, sacred messenger. In the Buddhist teachings, the word for this is Dukkha. It is often translated simply as suffering, but its meaning is more subtle, more nuanced. Think of it as a fundamental unsatisfactoriness, a friction, the subtle grinding of a wheel that is slightly off its axle. It is the unease that hums beneath the surface of our lives, the feeling that something is not quite right. It can manifest as acute emotional pain, grief, anger, fear, as a chronic, low-grade anxiety. We have been taught to see dukkha as a sign of failure, as a punishment, as an enemy to be vanquished at all costs. We spend our lives running from it, numbing it, distracting ourselves from it. But this is like trying to navigate by smashing the compass because you don't like the direction it is pointing. Dukkha is not the problem. Dukkha is the compass. It is a signal, a sacred alarm bell ringing in the depths of your being, trying to get your attention. And what is the message it carries? The message is almost always the same. It is telling you that you are holding on to something that is not true. It is signaling a point of resistance, where your mind is at war with reality. Every experience of dukkha, when examined with gentle awareness, can be traced back to a clinging to the impermanent or a defense of the non-existent self. The pain of loss is the resistance to the truth of Anicca, impermanence. You are clinging to a form that has already changed. The pain of being insulted is the defense of the story of Anatta, no self. You are protecting a fictional character from the words of another fictional character. The anxiety about the future is the suffering born from trying to control a river that cannot be controlled. Dukkha is the cry of a mind that is arguing with what is, and it will continue to cry until you stop arguing and start listening. Our conditioned reaction to this cry is immediate and unconscious. We fight, we flee, or we freeze. We fight the pain by lashing out in anger, by blaming others, by creating dramas that distract from the core wound. We flee from it by diving into work, into entertainment, into the endless scroll, into any activity that keeps us too busy to feel. Or we freeze, collapsing into a state of numb resignation, a grey fog of depression where we don't have to feel the sharp edge of the pain. All of these are strategies of avoidance. All of them require immense amounts of energy, and none of them work. They are like holding a beach ball underwater. The moment your attention wavers, it shoots back to the surface with even greater force. The path of wisdom is to do the one thing we have been trained our entire lives not to do, to be still, to turn around, and to face the pain with gentle, open curiosity. The metaphor is that of a thorn in your foot. Imagine you are walking, and a sharp thorn pierces the sole of your foot. That initial piercing is the painful event of life, the loss, the rejection, the failure. It is sharp and unavoidable. But what happens next determines everything. The conditioned response is to try to ignore it, to keep walking. But now you are limping, you are putting pressure on your other foot, causing strain in your hip and your back. The wound where the thorn is lodged becomes inflamed, infected. The initial sharp pain has now transformed into a dull, chronic, debilitating suffering. This limping, this inflammation, this infection, this is dukkha. It is not the thorn itself, but the result of refusing to deal with the thorn. The wise person, upon feeling the sharp pain, does not keep walking. The wise person stops. They sit down. They take a deep breath, and with courage and compassion, they lift their foot to examine the wound. They see the thorn for what it is, and then, with care, they gently but firmly pull it out. The pulling out may cause another sharp sting of pain, but it is a clean, healing pain. Once the thorn is removed, the source of the suffering is gone, and the body's natural healing can begin. The thorn is your attachment. It is your resistance to reality. It is the false belief you are clinging to. The act of turning towards your pain is the act of sitting down to examine the wound. The act of asking, "What have you come to teach me?" is the act of finding the thorn. And the moment of insight, the moment you see the truth, I am clinging to how things should be, not how they are, that is the moment you pull the thorn out. Tonight, as you lie in this safe and quiet space, you can begin this practice. Should a wave of difficult emotion arise, a familiar ache of dukkha, try this. First, depersonalize it. The instinct is to say, "I am sad," or "I am anxious." This language is a trap. It equates your entire, vast being with a temporary emotional weather pattern. Instead, practice a subtle but powerful shift in language. Say to yourself, "Sadness is present," or "Awareness is experiencing anxiety." Can you feel the difference? You are no longer the emotion. You are the vast, silent space in which the emotion is happening. You are the sky, not the cloud. This creates a sliver of space, and in that space, freedom is born. From this space of observation, you can now gently approach the feeling. You do not dive into its story. You approach the raw, physical sensation of it. Where does this sadness live in your body? Is it a hollowness in your chest? Is it a heaviness in your belly? Is it a tightness in your throat? Simply place your gentle, loving awareness on that physical sensation. Do not judge it. Do not try to make it go away. Just be with it. Breathe into it. Imagine your breath is a warm, golden light surrounding the sensation, softening its edges. And then you can ask the question, not with your loud, analytical mind, but with the quiet, intuitive wisdom of your heart. You can ask the pain itself, what is your message? What have you come to make me see? What false story am I clinging to? And then you listen. You do not listen for a voice in your head. You listen for a feeling, a shift, an insight. The answer might be a sudden memory, a new understanding, or simply a deep sigh of release as the body lets go of a tension it has been holding for years. You are not interrogating your pain. You are holding a counsel with it. You are honoring it as a sacred messenger, a guide sent from the deepest part of your own being to lead you back to truth. As you do this, you realize that the pain itself was never the true enemy. The struggle was the enemy. The resistance was the enemy. The moment you stop fighting, the moment you allow the pain to be there and deliver its message, it begins to transform. It ceases to be a monster in the dark and becomes a wise, albeit severe, teacher. But to sit with this teacher, to listen to its wisdom, requires one core capacity. It requires the ability to stop fighting, to stop resisting, to soften, and to allow. To heal the wound, you must first relax the muscle around the thorn. This gentle, powerful art of non-resistance is the master key to this practice, and it is the path we must walk next. You have stood before the messenger of your pain. You have found the courage not to run, but to listen. And the message, in its essence, is always a call to surrender. Not a surrender of defeat, but a surrender of wisdom. It is a call to cease the futile war against reality, for it is this war, and this war alone, that creates the deep friction of dukkha. To finally answer this call, we must learn the most graceful and powerful spiritual technology available to us, the gentle art of non-resistance. This art is profoundly misunderstood in a world that worships struggle. We are taught to fight, to push through, to brace ourselves against hardship. We mistake surrender for weakness, acceptance for apathy. Let us be clear. Acceptance is not resignation. Resignation is a state of defeated helplessness. It says, "This is terrible, and I can do nothing. I give up." It is a cold, dead-end street. Acceptance, true acceptance, is a state of vibrant, intelligent clarity. It looks at a situation and says, "This is what is. My personal preferences are irrelevant to this fact. I will not waste 1 ounce of my precious life force fighting a reality that is already here. I will align with it, and from this place of stillness and clarity, I will choose my next move." Acceptance is not the end of action. It is the beginning of wise, effective action, action that is in harmony with the flow of life, not in opposition to it. Resistance is the default state of the ego. It is a fundamental biological and psychological number. When a feeling you don't like arises, the body clenches in resistance. When a situation you don't want occurs, the mind tightens in resistance. It is a full body contraction, an inner bracing against the present moment. This act of resisting consumes an unimaginable amount of your energy. It is the invisible friction that is wearing you down day after day, year after year. It is like driving through life with the emergency brake pulled tight. You can still move forward, but everything is a struggle. The engine is screaming, and you are burning an incredible amount of fuel just to make the smallest progress. The chronic exhaustion you feel, the tension in your shoulders, the knot in your stomach, these are not caused by the events of your life. They are caused by your resistance to the events of your life. The core message of this teaching is this: What you resist persists. When you fight a thought, you give it energy and it grows stronger. When you brace against an emotion, you trap its energy in your body where it stagnates and turns toxic. When you resist a life situation, you become locked in a power struggle with it, unable to see the hidden opportunities or the path forward. Your resistance is the glue that keeps you stuck to your own suffering. Conversely, what you allow, what you meet with non-resistance, can flow through you and be released. An emotion that is fully felt, without resistance, will deliver its message and pass in minutes. A thought that is allowed to be, without judgment, loses its power. A situation that is accepted for what it is can finally be navigated with grace and wisdom. Energy flows where permission goes. Non-resistance is the act of giving permission. It is opening the dam and allowing the river of life, with all its joys and sorrows, to flow through you unimpeded. This is not weakness. This is the highest intelligence. Consider the great oak tree and the humble reed standing side by side in a field. A mighty hurricane approaches. The oak, proud and strong, meets the wind with absolute resistance. It holds its ground, its great trunk rigid, its branches unyielding. It is a magnificent battle of strength against strength. The reed, however, practices a different wisdom. As the wind blows, it does not fight. It bows. It yields completely, lying almost flat against the ground, offering no resistance to the storm. The wind passes harmlessly over it. When the hurricane has finally passed, the magnificent oak, which fought so valiantly, lies shattered and broken, its pride no match for the power of the wind. And the reed simply rises again, unharmed, gently swaying in the breeze. The path of the ego is the path of the oak, the path of rigid resistance that inevitably leads to breaking. The path of the soul, the path of wisdom, is the path of the reed, the path of yielding that leads to unbreakable resilience. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can learn to be the reed. You can practice the physical art of non-resistance. Begin by scanning your own body for the familiar signatures of resistance. Bring your awareness to your jaw. Is it clenched? This is the physical anchor of control and suppressed anger. Bring your awareness to your tongue. Is it pressed against the roof of your mouth? Bring your awareness to your shoulders. Are they pulled up towards your ears, as if bracing for a blow? This is the anchor of burden and anxiety. Scan your hands. Are your fists subtly clenched? This is the anchor of a desire to fight or to grip. Feel your stomach. Is it tight and knotted? This is the anchor of fear. These are not just physical tensions. They are the crystallized forms of your mental and emotional resistance. They are the ways your body says, "Number." Now, you will consciously teach your body to say yes. Take a slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, intentionally let your jaw go slack. Allow your teeth to part slightly. Let your tongue rest, soft and heavy, in the bottom of your mouth. With your next exhale, invite your shoulders to drop, to melt away from your ears. Feel the space created around your neck. With your next out-breath, consciously unclench your hands. Let your fingers unfurl and rest, open and receptive. And finally, breathe deeply into your belly. On the exhale, allow it to be soft. Release the knot. Give yourself permission to be vulnerable, to be unguarded. With each exhalation, you can use a silent mantra, the word soften, or release, or allow. You are using your breath as a tool to physically dissolve the armor of resistance you have been carrying all day. You can apply this practice to any form of dukkha that arises. If a wave of anxiety appears, notice where your body tenses in resistance to it, and instead of fighting the anxiety, simply soften the part of your body that is fighting it. If you feel a sharp pang of grief, notice the clenching in your chest and consciously breathe into that space, inviting it to soften, to open. You are not trying to get rid of the feeling. You are removing your resistance to the feeling, and you will discover a miracle. The moment you stop resisting the emotion, it begins to lose its terrifying power. It can finally move, flow, and complete its journey through you, delivering its message and moving on. You are no longer a dam. You have become the riverbed itself. This practice of non-resistance is the ultimate act of clearing the ground. All day, you have been struggling, fighting, resisting. The soil of your consciousness has become hard, compacted, and full of the weeds of tension. Now, through this gentle art of allowing, you have softened the earth. You have pulled the weeds of struggle. You have created a receptive, fertile, peaceful space within yourself. The war is over. The ground is now prepared. And into this quiet, waiting garden, you are now ready to plant the first intentional seed of creation. You have created the perfect conditions to cultivate a new way of being. Having cleared the space by letting go, we can now enrich it by inviting in. And the first and most powerful seed we shall plant is the radiant seed of loving kindness. The war is over. The frantic struggle against the present moment has ceased. And here, in the stillness, you are resting on the soft, receptive earth of your own being. The ground of your consciousness, once hard and compacted by resistance, is now workable, fertile, and ready. You have cleared the space. You have pulled the thorny weeds of struggle and strife. You have created a sanctuary within yourself, and into this sacred, silent garden of the heart, we will now plant the first, most powerful seed. It is the seed of metta. Metta is a word from the ancient Pali language that translates as loving kindness. It is not the passionate, grasping, romantic love of stories. It is a simpler, purer, and far more radical energy. It is the gentle, unconditional friendliness you might offer to a small child or a beloved animal. It is a steady, quiet warmth, a sincere wish for the well-being of another. And in this practice, the first being you will offer this warmth to is the one who has been starved of it for the longest, yourself. For most of us, the inner landscape of the mind is a harsh and unforgiving place. It is ruled by a relentless inner critic, a voice that has been cataloguing our failures and shortcomings since childhood. This voice is a merciless judge. It tells us we are not smart enough, not successful enough, not good enough. It compares us unfavorably to others. It replays our mistakes on an endless loop. It sets impossible standards and then berates us when we fail to meet them. We have become so accustomed to this inner tyrant that we mistake its voice for the truth. We believe its harshness is necessary, that it is what motivates us, what keeps us from becoming lazy or complacent. But this is a profound lie. This inner critic is not a motivator. It is a tormentor. It does not build you up. It breaks you down. The energy it creates, the constant, low-grade feeling of inadequacy and self-judgmentis, a form of chronic inner warfare. It is the source of our deepest anxieties and the poison that prevents any true peace from taking root. The practice of metta is the direct antidote to this poison. It is the conscious act of cultivating a different voice, a different energy within yourself. It is the choice to become your own ally instead of your own enemy. This can feel strange, even selfish at first. We are well practiced in wishing happiness for others, but deeply uncomfortable with offering it to ourselves. But consider this: you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot offer a warmth to the world that you do not possess within. To cultivate loving kindness for yourself is not an act of self-indulgence. It is a fundamental act of sanity and healing. It is the foundation upon which all genuine compassion for others must be built. Think of your heart as a garden. For years, perhaps a lifetime, you have unknowingly allowed the weeds of self-criticism, judgment, and resentment to grow wild. They have choked the soil and blocked the light. It is no wonder that so little has been able to flourish there. Metta practice is the act of becoming a conscious gardener. It is the deliberate planting of beautiful, fragrant flowers in the place of those weeds. Every thought of judgment is a weed. Every thought of loving kindness is a seed. And the moments before you fall asleep are the most fertile time of all for this sacred gardening. For the seeds you plant in your mind tonight will be watered by the subconscious during your rest, taking root at the deepest levels of your being. So let us begin. Bring your gentle attention to the center of your chest, your heart space. You do not need to force a feeling. Simply rest your awareness there. Perhaps you can sense a subtle warmth, a gentle glow, or just the feeling of your own aliveness. Now, in this space, you will offer yourself a few simple, powerful phrases. These are not empty affirmations. They are sincere wishes, gifts from your awareness to your own heart. Speak them silently to yourself, slowly, letting the meaning of the words resonate. The first phrase is, "May I be safe." This is a wish for safety from all external harm, but more importantly, safety from the inner harm of your own self-attack. It is a vow to put down the weapon of self-criticism. May I be safe. Feel the deep soul-level longing for true safety and offer it to yourself now. The next phrase is, "May I be happy." This is not a wish for fleeting pleasure, but for a deep, authentic happiness that comes from within. It is a wish for your own genuine well-being, for the joy that is your birthright. You are giving yourself permission to be happy. May I be happy. The next phrase is, "May I be healthy." This is a wish for the health of your body, the clarity of your mind, and the vibrancy of your spirit. A wish for wholeness and vitality on all levels of your being. May I be healthy. And the final phrase is, "May I live with ease." This is a wish for freedom from struggle, a wish to move through life with grace and flow, to be free from the torment of anxiety and resistance. It is a wish for peace. May I live with ease. Repeat these phrases gently to yourself. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. It does not matter if you fully believe them at first. It does not matter if a part of you resists. Your job is not to force a feeling, but simply to plant the seed. Say the words with as much sincerity as you can muster. You are performing a radical act of kindness. You are tending to your own heart. As you rest in this gentle energy, you may notice it beginning to build. The feeling of warmth may grow stronger. Now, from this place, you can begin to extend this loving kindness outwards. Bring to mind someone you love, easily a dear friend, a family member, a beloved pet. Hold their image in your mind's eye and offer them the same wishes. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Feel the natural flow of love from your heart to theirs. There is no effort in this. Love naturally wants to radiate. Then, if you feel able, bring to mind a neutral person, someone you see in your daily life, but for whom you feel no strong emotion, a shopkeeper, a colleague, a neighbor. Offer them the same gentle wishes. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. In doing this, you are stretching your heart's capacity, recognizing the shared humanity in all beings. Finally, you can allow this energy of metta to radiate outwards in all directions without limit, to all the people in your building, in your city, in your country, to all beings on this planet, human and animal, friend and stranger. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with ease. You become a lighthouse of loving kindness, shining your gentle light out into the darkness of the world. You are connecting with the fundamental truth that all beings, without exception, share the same deep wish to be happy and free from suffering. Rest in this boundless feeling of metta. This is the energy that heals. This is the frequency that dissolves fear and anger. You have planted the most precious seeds in the garden of your heart. But for these seeds to grow strong, for their roots to deepen and their blossoms to unfold, they need nourishment. They need to be watered. And the most constant, life-giving water available to you, the sacred stream that flows through you from the moment of your birth to the moment of your death, is your own breath. To truly integrate this loving kindness into every cell of your being, we must now turn our attention to the power and wisdom of the breath, the anchor that can hold us steady in the storm, and the river that can carry this peace into the deepest parts of our soul. You have planted the precious seeds of loving kindness in the soft, fertile ground of your heart. You have offered yourself the gift of unconditional friendliness, creating a warm and gentle space within. But for these seeds to truly flourish, for their roots to deepen and their blossoms to perfume your entire being, they must be nourished. They need water. This life-giving water is not something you must search for. You do not have to dig a well or wait for the rain. It is already flowing through you, constant and true. It is the sacred river of your own breath. The breath is the most overlooked and yet most powerful tool you possess for transforming your inner state. It is the master key that unlocks the control panel of your nervous system. Your mind and your breath are two ends of the same string. When you move one, the other must follow. When the mind is agitated, filled with fear or anger, the breath becomes short, shallow, and erratic. This kind of breathing sends a panic signal directly to your brain, activating your sympathetic nervous system, the body's fight or flight response. It floods your system with stress hormones, preparing you for a battle that exists only in your mind. This is the state of anxiety, of tension, of sleeplessness. Conversely, when the breath is slow, deep, and rhythmic, it sends a signal of safety and calm. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest and healing response. It tells every cell in your body that the battle is over, that you are safe, that it is time to repair, restore, and release. You have, within you, the power to manually switch from the state of stress to the state of healing, simply by choosing to change the rhythm of your breath. This is not a metaphor, it is a physiological reality. The breath is the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, the physical and the mental. It is the reins with which you can gently guide the wild horse of the mind back to the stable of the present moment. Think of your mind as a turbulent ocean on a stormy night. Your awareness is a small ship, tossed about by the giant waves of thought and emotion. One moment, you are lifted high on a wave of planning for tomorrow. The next, you crash down into a trough of regret about yesterday. You feel helpless, at the mercy of the storm, in danger of being capsized and lost in the chaos. A wise sailor in such a storm does not try to command the waves to be still. That is impossible. Instead, they perform a simple, powerful act. They drop the anchor. The anchor does not make the storm vanish. The winds still howl and the waves still crash. But the anchor holds the ship fast to the seabed, to the one place of stability beneath the turmoil. It keeps the ship from being swept away, holding it steady and safe until the storm naturally passes. Your breath is this anchor. The storm of your mind will not cease simply because you wish it to, but you can choose, in any given moment, to drop the anchor. By bringing your full attention to the physical sensation of your breathing, you are anchoring your awareness in the deep, quiet reality of the present moment. Thoughts will still rage, and emotions will still swell, but they will no longer have the power to sweep you away. You can watch the storm from a place of grounded stability. You are safe, you are steady, you are anchored in the now. The breath is your most loyal and faithful friend. Thoughts are fickle, emotions are fleeting, the world is unreliable. But your breath has been with you since the moment you were born, and it will stay with you until your very last. It has never once abandoned you. No matter how far you have strayed, how lost you feel in the labyrinth of your mind, you are only ever one conscious breath away from returning home. Tonight, you will practice dropping this anchor. There are two simple ways to approach this. The first is a practice of direct regulation, a way to consciously calm a nervous system that has become agitated. This is for when the storm is particularly strong. We will practice a form of rhythmic breathing. There is no strain in this. Simply a gentle, steady count. You can begin now. Inhale softly through your nose for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold the breath gently at the top for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Now exhale slowly through your mouth or nose for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold the breath gently at the bottom, the space of emptiness, for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us continue. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Continue this gentle rhythm on your own. This simple square pattern of breathing breaks the feedback loop of anxiety. It tells your body and mind that there is no emergency. It is a lullaby for the nervous system, guiding it back into a state of balance and peace. The second path is the core practice of mindfulness, known as anapanasati. It is the simple, profound art of observing the breath just as it is, without trying to change it at all. This practice cultivates deep stillness and clarity. You can let go of the counting now and allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Your only task is to watch it, to feel it. Bring your attention to the very tip of your nostrils. Notice the subtle sensation of the air as it enters. Perhaps it feels cool. Notice the sensation as it leaves. Perhaps it feels slightly warmer. Rest your entire attention on this small, delicate point of sensation. This is your anchor point. Your mind will wander. This is not a mistake. It is simply what minds do. It will drift into a memory, a plan, a fantasy. The moment you realize your mind has wandered, that moment of realization is a moment of pure mindfulness. In that moment, without any judgment or frustration, you gently and lovingly acknowledge where the mind has gone here, thinking, and then you escort it back home to the sensation of the breath. That is the entire practice, getting lost and gently returning. Each return is like a repetition in a workout, strengthening the muscle of your attention. You are not trying to create a blank mind. You are cultivating a stable, clear, and compassionate awareness. You are learning to be the calm, unwavering witness to the flow of your own experience, anchored securely in the reality of the breath. As you rest here, anchored in this simple, profound rhythm, you begin to feel the seeds of loving kindness you planted earlier being watered. With every in-breath, you can imagine you are breathing in peace, calm, and compassion. You are drawing nourishment from the universe. With every out-breath, you can imagine you are releasing tension, anxiety, and all that no longer serves you. The breath becomes the very current that carries the intention of metta through your body, delivering the wish for safety, happiness, health, and ease to every one of your trillions of cells. And in this practice, a new realization dawns. To be aware of the breath is to be aware of the body. You cannot feel the breath without feeling the coolness at the nostrils, the rise and fall of the chest, the gentle expansion of the abdomen. The breath is not an abstract concept. It is a living physical process. By anchoring in the breath, you have, by necessity, anchored yourself in the felt reality of your own body. You have come home to your physical form. This naturally leads us to a deeper inquiry. If the breath, this one simple process, holds so much power and wisdom, what profound intelligence lies waiting in the rest of the body? What messages are being sent by your muscles, your bones, your very cells? Having found our anchor, we can now begin to explore the vessel itself, to learn to listen to the silent language of the body as a wise and faithful teacher. The river of your breath has carried you home, out of the turbulent sky of the mind and into the firm, familiar landscape of your own body. For a moment, your awareness was anchored in the simple, rhythmic rise and fall of your chest, or the subtle sensations at the tip of your nose. Now, allow that awareness to expand. Let it gently overflow the banks of the breath and begin to saturate your entire physical form. Let your consciousness, which so often lives as a prisoner in the fortress of your skull, descend and inhabit every part of you, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. We are embarking on a journey to reclaim a forgotten wisdom, to learn again the silent, honest language of the body. In our modern world, we have become profoundly disconnected from this language. We treat our bodies not as sacred, living partners, but as machines to be optimized or objects to be criticized. We live in our heads, in a world of concepts, plans, and digital screens. The body becomes little more than a vehicle for carrying our brains from one meeting to the next, a thing to be fueled with coffee, disciplined with exercise, and ignored when it whispers its needs. We have become numb to its subtle signals, deaf to its gentle guidance. We only pay attention when it finally screams at us in the form of pain, illness, or exhaustion, and then we treat the symptom, silencing the scream without ever stopping to listen to the message it was trying to deliver. But your body is not a machine. It is a living, breathing, sentient being. It is a wise animal, possessed of an intelligence that far surpasses the cleverness of your thinking mind. It is a living archive, a somatic library that holds the energetic imprint of every single experience you have ever had. The joy, the laughter, the love, these are stored there. And so too are the sorrows, the fears, and the traumas, especially the ones your conscious mind has tried to suppress or forget. Your body remembers. That unresolved grief from a decade ago may be living as a persistent tightness in your chest. The unspoken anger towards a parent or a partner may be stored as a chronic tension in your jaw or your shoulders. The fear from a past event may be locked deep in the knot of your stomach. Your body is the keeper of your truths. While your mind can rationalize, justify, and deceive, your body never lies. The inner conflict between your mind and your body is a primary source of your disease. Your mind says, "Push harder," but your body whispers, "I am tired." Your mind says, "You should not have eaten that," but your body is simply processing nourishment. Your mind obsesses over an imagined future, while your body remains rooted in the absolute, undeniable reality of the present moment. Tonight, we will practice calling a truce in this inner war. We will practice shifting our allegiance from the noisy, unreliable narrator in our heads to the silent, wise teacher that is our physical form. We will learn to listen to its language, which is not a language of words, but of sensation. Think of your body as the earth itself. The aches and pains, the tensions and stiffnesses that you feel are like small tremors on the surface. They are not random annoyances. They are intelligent signals from the deep tectonic plates of your being, indicating where stress is building up, where energy is blocked, where there are unresolved fault lines in your emotional landscape. We tend to ignore these small tremors. We take a pill, we stretch for a moment, and we carry on. But if the underlying stress is not addressed, the tremors will continue, growing in intensity, until they manifest as a full-blown earthquakean illness, an injury, or a state of complete burnout. The practice of listening to your body is the art of becoming a sensitive seismologist of your own inner world. It is about learning to honor the whispers so you never have to hear the screams. The most profound way to practice this is through a body scan, a journey of awareness through your inner landscape. This is not an act of doing, but of pure, receptive listening. So now, as you lie here, held and supported by your bed, let us begin. Bring your awareness all the way down to your feet. Feel your toes. You do not need to move them. Just feel them. What sensations are present? Perhaps you feel warmth, or a slight tingling, or maybe even numbness. There are no right or wrong answers. Your only task is to notice what is here with gentle, non-judgmental curiosity. Now, let your awareness expand to include the soles of your feet, your heels, the top of your feet. Feel the points of contact with the bed. Feel the subtle energy that is alive in them. Slowly, lovingly, allow your awareness to travel up to your ankles, your calves and your shins. Simply feel, simply listen. Are there areas of tightness or tension? If you find a knot of tension, do not try to force it to relax. This would be returning to the way of struggle. Instead, offer it your gentle attention. Breathe into it. Imagine your warm, soft breath surrounding the tension, inviting it to soften, giving it permission to release if it is ready. If it does not release, that is perfectly fine. Your job is not to fix, but to feel. Continue this journey upwards to your knees and your powerful thighs. These large muscles work so hard for you all day and hold so much energy. Offer them your gratitude and your quiet attention. Let them soften. Let them release their holding. Now bring your awareness to your hips, your pelvis, and your lower back area, where so many of us hold deep-seated tension and stress. Just be with the sensations here. Breathe into any tightness, any ache, with the gentle invitation to let go. Let your awareness now travel up your spine, vertebra by vertebra, feeling the foundation of your being. Let it spread across your abdomen. Allow your belly to be soft and vulnerable. This is a place of deep feeling and intuition. Let go of the habit of holding it tight. Allow it to rise and fall gently with your breath. Now bring your awareness to your chest, the home of your heart. Feel the gentle, steady beat of your heart, your faithful companion. Feel the expansion and contraction with each breath. If there is tightness here, a feeling of being guarded, just acknowledge it with kindness. Let your attention now flow down your arms, through your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, and into your hands. Feel the life force in your palms and in each of your fingers. Let your hands be open and soft, releasing the need to grasp or control. Now, return your awareness to your shoulders and your neck. This is the bridge between your body and your head, a place where the burden of worry is so often stored. Invite your shoulders to melt away from your ears. Invite the muscles of your neck to lengthen and release. Allow your jaw to go slack, letting your teeth part. Let your tongue rest, heavy and soft. Soften the tiny muscles around your eyes and across your forehead. Finally, bring your awareness to the very crown of your head, and then feel your entire body as one single, unified field of sensation, humming with life, breathing as one. You have come home. You are no longer a disembodied mind, but a fully inhabited being, present and alive in your own skin. As you performed this journey, you may have noticed certain areas, specific knots of chronic tension that did not want to release, no matter how much you invited them to soften. These deep, persistent contractions are significant. They are often the physical anchors of our most deeply held emotional patterns. They are the places where we have stored the potent, toxic energy of old grievances, resentments, and the refusal to forgive. To truly allow these final, stubborn knots to dissolve, we cannot just work at the physical level. We must be willing to address their emotional root. And so, our journey of healing must now lead us into the courageous and profoundly liberating territory of the heart, to explore the gentle, powerful art of forgiveness. You have journeyed home to the body, listening with gentle attention as it spoke its silent language of sensation. And in that journey, perhaps you discovered them, the old, stubborn knots of tension, the areas of chronic contraction that refused to soften, the parts of you that remain braced and guarded, even in this quiet sanctuary. These are not mere muscular habits. These are archives of pain. They are the physical anchors of old wounds, the places where the body stores the dense, heavy, and toxic energy of unforgiveness. To find our deepest rest, to allow the body to truly heal during the night, we must be willing to approach these knots at their source. We must learn the courageous and profoundly liberating art of forgiveness. This is perhaps the most misunderstood of all spiritual practices. We hear the word forgiveness and our ego immediately rebels. It conjures images of condoning hurtful behavior, of letting someone off the hook, of pretending that what happened was okay. This is not what forgiveness is. True forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It is a profound act of self-liberation. It is the key that unlocks your own prison cell. Unforgiveness, the act of holding on to resentment, is the poison you drink, secretly hoping the other person will die. But the only one who is poisoned is you. The only one whose life is corroded by the bitterness is you. The other person may be living their life, oblivious, while you remain chained to the memory of the past, forced to relive the pain again and again. Let us be clear about the nature of this poison. When you hold a grievance, you are in a constant, low-grade state of fight. Your nervous system is perpetually activated. Your body is tense. Your mind is rehearsing old arguments and imagining new ones. This state of inner warfare makes deep, restorative sleep impossible. It is like trying to rest in the middle of a battlefield. Furthermore, this resentment colors your entire perception of the present. It becomes a dark lens through which you see the world, making you cynical, defensive, and closed off to the possibility of joy and connection now. It tethers you with a chain of burning steel to a past that you cannot change. The ego has compelling arguments for holding on. It tells you that your anger is justified, that it is a form of justice. It tells you that to forgive is to be weak, to invalidate your own pain, to declare that the other person has won. It makes the grievance a core part of your identity. I am the one who was wronged. It feels powerful, in a way, to hold this position of righteous anger. But look closer. Feel the true cost of this position. It is exhausting. It requires immense energy to keep the fires of old anger burning. The person you are truly punishing with your unforgiveness is yourself. The choice before you tonight is not between justice and injustice. It is between bondage and freedom. The core message, the great secret of this practice, is this: forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. Read those words again. Forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. It is the radical, courageous acceptance that what happened, happened. It is over. It cannot be undone. You must abandon the impossible, soul-crushing project of trying to change history through the force of your present moment anger. The moment you truly give up on that hopeless endeavor, all the energy you have been pouring into that fire is returned to you. It is reclaimed, and you can now use that energy for the only thing that matters: to create a better present. Imagine that your resentment is a heavy, sharp-edged sword. From the moment you were hurt, you picked it up. You have been holding it ever since, perhaps for years. It is incredibly heavy. Your muscles ache. Your spirit is weary. You hold it with the blade pointed outwards, thinking it is protecting you. But the handle is also sharp, and it has been cutting into your own hand this entire time. You are the one who is bleeding. You are the one who is exhausted. Forgiveness is the moment of profound wisdom when you look at the sword and realize it is only harming you. It is the conscious, intelligent decision to finally open your hand and simply let it drop. The clank it makes as it hits the ground is the sound of your own freedom. The relief is immediate, profound, and life-altering. Tonight, you can perform this ritual of release. I invite you now, in the safety and quiet of this space, to gently bring to mind someone you hold a resentment against. Perhaps start with someone whose offense is not the deepest wound you carry. And know that the person you choose to work with can also be yourself, for our lack of self-forgiveness is often the heaviest burden of all. Allow the image or sense of this person to arise, and allow yourself to acknowledge the pain associated with them. Just for a moment, a simple, honest acknowledgement. Yes, that hurt. You are not diving back into the drama. You are not reliving the trauma. You are simply validating your own experience, like a loving parent validating a child's scraped knee. The pain was real. Now, see or sense the resentment itself. Is it that heavy sword? Is it a dark, jagged stone that you have been carrying in your heart? Is it a fiery hot coal that has been burning your hand? See it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel its weight, its heat, its suffocating energy. And now, in a conscious act of will, you are going to release it. Visualize yourself either handing this object back to the person or simply placing it on the ground between you. As you do this, offer these words silently from your heart. You can use these words, or your own. I have been carrying this burden of anger for long enough. I see now that it is only harming me, and I am no longer willing to carry it. I release you from the prison of my resentment. I release this burden. I release this pain. I do this not because what you did was right, but because I am worthy of peace. I do this not for you, but for me. I set myself free. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, powerfully visualize that sword dropping, that stone rolling away, that hot coal being released from your hand. Feel the immediate lightness in your body. Feel the space that has been created where that heavy energy used to be. Feel the tension draining from the knots in your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. Your hand, which was clenched for so long, can finally soften. Bring all of your attention back to yourself, to the feeling of this newfound freedom. Rest in this space of release. You have laid down the heaviest of all human burdens. You are lighter. The air in the room seems clearer. Your own heart feels more spacious. This lightness changes everything. It allows you to go deeper into your own being, to travel to places that were inaccessible when you were weighed down by the baggage of the past. Having cleared away the dense, personal histories of pain and resentment, you are now prepared to encounter the deeper, more primal mysteries of consciousness itself. You are ready to face the darkness, not as an enemy, but as a gateway. You are ready to embrace the fertile, silent void, the very womb of creation from which all things arise and to which all things return. You have laid down the heavy sword of resentment. You have released the burning coal of your grievances. You feel a new lightness, a spaciousness in your heart and in your mind. Unburdened by the weight of a past that cannot be changed, you are now free to journey even deeper, to the very edge of consciousness itself. Here, at the precipice of sleep, we encounter our most primal and subtle fear, the fear of the void, the fear of the dark, the fear of disappearing. After you have turned off the lights and the distractions of the day have faded, there comes a moment, a threshold, where you feel your sense of self begin to blur. It is a subtle vertigo, a feeling of falling away from the solid ground of who you think you are. For many, this triggers a flicker of panic, an unconscious tightening, a last-ditch effort of the mind to cling to itself. This is the ego's final stand. Having survived the deconstruction of its thoughts, the release of its grievances, it now faces its ultimate terror, its own dissolution. From the perspective of the separate self, deep, dreamless sleep is a nightly death. It is the complete annihilation of its world, its problems, its identity, and so it fights. It thrashes about, creating restless thoughts, last-minute worries, and even physical jolts to pull you back from the brink, back into the familiar territory of being somebody. This quiet, nightly struggle is the final barrier that stands between you and the most profoundly healing rest you can experience. Tonight, we will not fight this darkness. We will not fear this void. we will reframe it. We will learn to see it not as an enemy, but as our most ancient and loving mother. We have been taught to fear the dark and to worship the light, but this is a profound misunderstanding of the nature of reality. The darkness is not the opposite of the light. It is the womb from which light is born. The infinite blackness of space is the canvas upon which all the fiery stars and galaxies are painted. The deep, silent earth is the source from which all the vibrant green life of the world emerges. The stillness is the source of all sound. The void is not empty. It is the fullness of pure potential. It is the unmanifest field from which all of creation arises. It is not a dead, terrifying nothingness. It is a loving, intelligent, and fertile everythingness. It is the source, and deep, dreamless sleep is your nightly pilgrimage back home. Consider the land in the dead of winter. The trees stand like bare skeletons against a grey sky. The ground is frozen solid. The world appears barren, lifeless, dead. This is how the ego perceives the void of deep sleepers, a state of lack, of absence. But if you could look beneath the surface of the frozen earth, you would find that it is not dead at all. In the quiet, nourishing darkness of the soil, a profound, secret alchemy is taking place. The seeds of spring are not gone. They are gathering their strength. The life force of the world has not vanished. It has simply withdrawn from the surface, from the world of form and action, to concentrate its power at the source. This is a sacred and necessary fallowing, a time of deep internal regeneration, without which the explosive rebirth of spring would be impossible. Deep, dreamless sleep is your soul's wintering. It is the time when your own life force withdraws from the surface of your personality, your thoughts, your roles, your doing sand, returns to the fertile darkness of your own being to be restored. In this state, you are not gone. You are being undone. You are being unmade. The knots of the previous day are being untangled. The frantic energy of your nervous system is being soothed. The very cells of your body are undergoing their most profound repair. To fear this state, to resist it, is like a seed fearing the soil, like a tree fearing the winter. It is to resist the very process that guarantees your own renewal. So, how do we practice this surrender? We practice it by changing our intention and our trust. As you lie here, on the edge of sleep, feel the pull of the darkness. But this time, instead of tightening against it, consciously soften. Reframe the narrative in your mind. The darkness is not a predator coming to devour you. It is a velvet blanket, a vast and loving maternal presence coming to enfold you. It is the embrace of the universe itself. You can whisper to yourself, "I am safe. I am being held. I am returning to my source to be healed." Imagine yourself not as a solid object, but as a single drop of colored water held in a glass. Your whole life, you have identified with being this separate drop, with its unique color, its defined boundaries. Now, imagine that glass being gently tipped into a vast, clear ocean. For a moment, you can see your color swirl, and then it dissolves. The drop is gone. Is this death? Or is it a glorious homecoming? The drop has not ceased to exist. Its essence has become one with the entire ocean. It has been liberated from the prison of its own smallness. This is the surrender of deep sleep. You are releasing the small, tired drop of your personal self back into the infinite ocean of pure being, trusting that when the sun rises, the ocean will once again graciously offer up a new, refreshed, pristine drop to greet the day. This requires trust. It is perhaps the ultimate act of faith. It is trusting that the same universal intelligence that choreographs the dance of the planets, that breathes life into the forests, that beats your heart without your command, that this same infinite intelligence can be trusted to manage your own nightly dissolution and reconstitution. You must trust that you will come back. You have done it every night of your life. But tonight, You will do it consciously. You will do it not with fear, but with reverence. You will not fall into sleep like a victim. You will surrender to it like a mystic. You will let go of the shore of the known and allow yourself to be carried by the gentle, silent current into the great, mysterious ocean of the unknown. Let go of your name. Let go of your history. Let go of your problems. They are clothes that are too tight, and it is time to take them off and swim in the nakedness of pure existence. Rest in this understanding. You are not falling into a dead void. You are dissolving into the living womb of creation. This is the ultimate healing. This nightly cycle of becoming, dissolving, and becoming anew is the fundamental rhythm of the cosmos, and it is not a random, chaotic process. The way you lived your day, the quality of the threads you wove into the fabric of your consciousness, the thoughts, the words, the actions, the intentions, all of this determines the nature of the self that dissolves into the void, and it directly influences the self that is reborn in the morning. This perfect, impersonal, and inescapable law of cause and effect, the law that governs the quality of our nightly journey and our morning return, has a name. It is the universal law of karma, and we are now ready to explore its neutral, powerful, and creative truth. Each morning you are reborn from the fertile darkness of the void, reconstituted from the infinite potential of pure being. But what determines the quality of this rebirth? Is the self that awakens a random creation a matter of chance or fate? Or is it governed by a deeper, more intelligent principle? The ancient wisdom traditions teach that this nightly cycle is not arbitrary. It is governed by a law as fundamental and impersonal as gravity. This is the law of karma. Perhaps no spiritual concept has been more misunderstood. We have been taught to see karma as a cosmic system of reward and punishment, administered by a judgmental, godlike entity. We imagine a great ledger in the sky where our good and bad deeds are tallied, with rewards doled out and punishments inflicted accordingly. This is a childish and fearful interpretation of a profound and empowering truth. Let go of this idea. Karma is not a judge. Karma is physics. It is the law of cause and effect applied to the realm of consciousness. The law is simple. Every action and a thought is a subtle but powerful action, creates a corresponding result. There is no external agent of punishment. The action and its consequence are intrinsically linked. If you thrust your hand into a fire, the pain you feel is not a punishment from the fire. It is the inherent, inescapable consequence of the act itself. In the same way, if you spend your day immersed in thoughts of anger and resentment, the agitated, contracted, and painful state you find yourself in is not a punishment for your anger. It is the anger. It is the natural, energetic result of the frequency you have been broadcasting. You are not being punished. You are simply experiencing the direct result of your own creations. This understanding moves you from the position of a victim to the position of a creator. The default state of the ego is to blame the external world for its internal state. The traffic made me angry. My boss is stressing me out. This political situation is causing my anxiety. This perspective makes you powerless, a helpless ship tossed on the waves of circumstance. The path of wisdom is to reclaim your power by taking responsibility for your own inner world. While you may not control the traffic, you have a choice in how you respond to it. Your response, the impatient thought, the angry word, the tightening in your chest, that is the karma you are creating. That is the energy you are adding to your own consciousness. And it is this accumulation of energy that determines the quality of your inner life and therefore the quality of your rest. Imagine that you are a weaver and your consciousness is a great, magnificent tapestry that you are weaving, moment by moment. The loom is the present moment, and the threads are your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Every moment of your waking life, you are choosing a thread and weaving it into this fabric. A thought of judgment towards yourself or another? That is a coarse, black, scratchy thread. You weave it in. A moment of mindless scrolling on your phone, a state of distraction? That is a thin, weak, grey thread. You weave it in. A word of sharp criticism spoken in haste? That is a thorny, brittle thread. You weave it in. But then, a moment of genuine presence with a loved one? That is a strong, vibrant, colourful thread. You weave that in. A word of kindness offered when it was not required? That is a soft, shimmering golden thread. An act of generosity, a moment of non-judgmental awareness, a conscious breath taken in the midst of a busy day. These are all threads of silk, of light, of beauty. At the end of the day, as you lie down to enter the sanctuary of sleep, you are not entering a neutral void. You are wrapping yourself in the very fabric you have spent the day weaving. If you have spent your day weaving with the threads of anger, frustration, and distraction, the tapestry will be a coarse, scratchy, uncomfortable blanket. Is it any wonder that your rest is fitful, agitated, and filled with anxious dreams? You are literally trying to sleep in the bed of your own making, and it is rough and unsettling. If, however, you have consciously chosen to weave with the threads of kindness, presence, compassion, and forgiveness, the tapestry becomes a soft, smooth, silken garment. To lie down in it is to be enfolded in peace, warmth, and safety. Your rest will be deep, nourishing, and restorative, because you are resting within the very essence of the beautiful energy you have cultivated. This is karma. It is simple. It is direct. It is your own creation. This understanding invites you to a new kind of practice, a gentle karmic review at the end of your day. This is not an exercise in guilt or self-flagellation. This is not about judging yourself for the scratchy threads you wove. It is a compassionate, intelligent review undertaken with the sole intention of becoming a more skillful weaver tomorrow. So, as you rest here, allow the events of your day to drift gently through your awareness, not as a detailed story, but as a flow of energy. Without getting lost in the details, simply notice, where were the moments of contraction today? When did your heart feel tight, your body tense, your mind agitated? What thoughts, words, or actions preceded that feeling? Just note it with the dispassionate curiosity of a scientist. Ah, when I engaged in gossip, I felt a contraction. Interesting. Then, notice the moments of expansion. When did your heart feel open, your body relaxed, your mind peaceful? What were you doing? What were you thinking? When I stopped what I was doing and listened fully to my child, I felt an expansion. Noted, this is not about creating a list of good and bad deeds. It is about becoming intimately familiar with the cause and effect of your own inner states. You are using your own life as your textbook, your own experience as your teacher. From this gentle review, you can extract the wisdom for the day. And based on that wisdom, you can set a simple, clear intention for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will practice more conscious listening. Or, tomorrow, I will notice the impulse to judge and choose a thought of kindness instead. Then, you release the day completely. You have learned from it. Its purpose is complete. You do not carry its failures or its successes into your rest. You release it all. You are the artist of your own life. You are the weaver of your own soul's fabric. Every moment is a choice. Every thought is a thread. This is the ultimate empowerment. The peace you seek is not in a distant future or a different circumstance. It is in the conscious, skillful choice of the very next thread you pick up. And this rich, complex tapestry you weave each day, this energetic record of your waking life, does not simply disappear when you fall asleep. It is the very material that your subconscious mind works with throughout the night. It is the databank from which your dreams arise. And so, if we wish to understand ourselves on an even deeper level, we can learn to read the symbolic language that emerges from the fabric of our own making, the mysterious and profound wisdom of our dreams. You are the weaver. You have come to understand that the fabric of your nightly rest is woven from the threads of your waking hours, from your thoughts, your words, your actions. This tapestry of your own creation, rich with the energies of your day, does not simply lie dormant as you sleep. It becomes an active, living landscape. It begins to speak, and the language it speaks is the mysterious, symbolic, and profoundly wise language of dreams. For much of our modern lives, we have been taught to dismiss the dream world. We see it as a random byproduct of a resting brain, a nonsensical movie theater of the mind, a chaotic firing of neurons that is best forgotten upon waking. We say, "It was just a dream," and we turn our attention back to the real world. But in doing so, we are discarding a priceless treasure. We are ignoring a series of personal, intimate letters delivered to us each night from the deepest, wisest part of our own being. Your dreams are not random nonsense. They are intelligent, purposeful communications. They are your psyche's way of digesting your daily experiences, of processing unresolved emotions, of healing old wounds, and of offering you guidance that your waking, logical mind may be too busy or too defended to receive. The conflict in understanding dreams lies between the literal mind and the symbolic heart. The logical mind, upon waking, wants to do one of two things: either dismiss the dream as meaningless because it doesn't follow the rules of waking reality, or it tries to rigidly analyze it, to solve it like a math problem. It runs to a dream dictionary, looking for a universal meaning. A house always means this, an ocean always means that. This approach is lifeless. It ignores the rich, personal context of your own soul. The intuitive heart knows a different way. It understands that a dream is more like a poem or a painting than an instruction manual. It doesn't ask, "What does this mean logically?" It asks, "How does this feel?" It senses the emotional atmosphere, the energetic signature of the dream, and it knows that this feeling is the true beginning of the message. The core message of this teaching is that you are the only true expert on your own dreams. They are written in your personal language of symbolism. A forest in your dream does not mean what it means in mine. To a person who grew up loving the woods, a forest may be a symbol of peace, sanctuary, and connection. To someone who was once lost in the woods, it may be a symbol of fear and disorientation. To understand your dreams, you must become the archaeologist of your own soul, learning the meaning of your own unique hieroglyphs. Your dreams are telegrams from your subconscious, and your life's work is to learn to be a skillful translator. Imagine the vast, dark, and mysterious ocean of your subconscious mind. Each night, this ocean casts messages up onto the shore of your awareness. These are your dreams. They are like messages in a bottle. Some bottles are crystal clear, the message inside perfectly legible. These are the lucid, vivid dreams you remember with ease. Others are green and murky, covered in seaweed, the message inside faded and difficult to read. These are the fragmented, confusing dreams that leave only a vague feeling behind. Some are just shards of a bottle, a single, powerful image that stays with you. Your task, upon waking, is to become a gentle beachcomber. Before the bright, analytical sun of your day rises too high and evaporates these delicate messages, before the tide of your to-do list washes them away, your work is to walk the shoreline of your mind and gather whatever has washed up. This requires a gentle practice, a ritual of receptivity. It begins before you even fall asleep. As you lie here tonight, you can set a simple, clear intention. You can say to your deeper self, "Tonight, I am open. I am willing to receive, remember, and understand the wisdom that comes through in my dreams. I ask for guidance and healing." This simple act of invitation primes your consciousness to cooperate. The next step is a practical one. Place a notebook and a pen by your bed. This is more than just a convenience. It is a sacred commitment. It is a signal to your psyche that you are taking it seriously, that its messages will be honored and recorded, not dismissed. You are creating a bridge between your inner world and your outer one. The most critical moment in this practice is the moment of waking, the instant you surface from sleep, before you move a muscle, before you open your eyes, before you even think about what day it is. Lie perfectly still. The dream world is a shy creature. Any sudden movement will scare it back into the shadows. Lie still and look backwards with your mind's eye into the realm you just left. Do not grope for a story. Simply be open. What feeling is lingering? What image is floating just at the edge of your vision? What words are echoing in the silence? Hold that stillness for as long as you can. Then, slowly, gently, reach for your journal and begin to write. Do not edit. Do not censor. Do not try to make it make sense. Capture the raw data. Write down everything, no matter how strange, mundane, or fragmented. I was in a house, but it was also my school. My mother was there, but she had my friend's voice. I was looking for a key and felt a sense of panic. The color red was everywhere. Write down the feelings. The feeling tone is the most important clue. I felt anxious. I felt a deep sense of peace. I was frustrated. I felt a profound sense of love. These feelings are the emotional heart of the dream's message. Later in the day, when you have some quiet time, you can return to what you have written. But do not approach it like a detective trying to solve a crime. Approach it like a lover of poetry. Read what you wrote. Read it again. Let the images and feelings wash over you. Then, you can begin a gentle dialogue with the dream. Ask it open-ended questions. If this dream were a mirror, what part of my life is it reflecting right now? If every character in this dream is a part of me, what part is the frightened child? What part is the wise old woman? What does this central symbol, this key, this ocean, this house mean to me? Reflect on the connections to the fabric of the day you wove before the dream. Is the dream's anxiety a reflection of the stressful threads of your workday? Is its peace a reflection of the golden thread of a kind act? Through this practice, you become your own interpreter, your own guide. The dream world ceases to be a frightening or confusing landscape and becomes a source of endless wisdom, creativity, and self-knowledge. It is your inner cartographer, mapping the hidden territories of your own soul. But this wisdom, this peace, this profound self-understanding you cultivate in the sacred darkness of the night is not meant to stay there. It is not a treasure to be hoarded in your bedroom. It is a gift to be carried out into the light of your waking day. The messages you find in the bottles washed ashore are maps to help you navigate the coming day with greater awareness. The peace you find in the fertile void is the nourishment you need to live with greater compassion. Therefore, the transition from this inner world of healing to the outer world of living is a crucial sacred moment. How you greet the dawn will determine whether you carry this peace with you or leave it behind on your pillow. Our journey now takes us to that final vital threshold, the morning ritual. You return from the boundless ocean of the subconscious, from the fertile darkness of the void. Your awareness journeys back to the shores of the waking world. You arrive carrying the subtle gifts of the night, the residue of a healing dream, the deep restoration of the nervous system, the quiet peace of having rested in your true nature. But this is a fragile moment. The peace you have cultivated is like a newborn flame, delicate and vulnerable. And the first few moments of your day will determine whether this flame is nurtured into a steady beacon or instantly extinguished by the harsh winds of the world. For most of us, the morning begins not as a gentle dawn, but as a violent ambush. The jarring siren of an alarm clock rips us from our inner world. And then, before our feet have even touched the floor, before we have even had a moment to welcome ourselves back into our own bodies, we perform a reflexive, unconscious act. We reach for the phone, and in that instant, we invite 100 screaming strangers into the sacred space of our bedroom. We flood our freshly rested minds with the world's anxieties, the curated perfection of other people's lives, the urgent demands of work emails, the chaotic chatter of the news. Our heart rate quickens. Our nervous system, which spent the night in a state of healing, is immediately thrown back into fight or flight. Our first breath of the day is not one of peace, but of anxiety. Our first thought is not one of gratitude, but of deficit. I am already behind. We begin our day on the defensive, reacting to a world that has barged into our consciousness before we were ready to receive it. There is another way. There is a path that honors the journey you have just taken, that protects the precious peace you have cultivated. It is the way of the sacred morning, the path of greeting the dawn with intention. This path begins with the understanding of a profound truth. The first 30 minutes of your day set the energetic keynote for the next 15 hours. The quality of your morning determines the quality of your day. By consciously choosing to dedicate the first few moments of your day to stillness, silence, and self-connection, you are not losing time. You are creating the very quality of time you wish to inhabit. You are choosing to have the first and most important conversation of the day, not with the world, but with your own soul. The pull to do otherwise is immense. The addiction to the digital stream is powerful. As you wake, you will feel the phantom itch in your fingers, the siren's call of the screen. Your mind will tell you, I just need to check if there are any important emails. I need to know what happened in the world overnight. Recognize this urge for what it is. It is the ego's fear of missing out, its desperate need to feel connected and productive. It is a neurological habit that mistakes information for wisdom and activity for progress. To consciously choose not to engage this habit is an act of profound sovereignty. It is to declare, my peace is more important than my email. My inner state is more valuable than the world's noise. I will meet the world today, but I will meet it on my terms, from a place of centeredness, not from a place of reaction. Imagine your mind upon waking is a still, quiet lake at dawn, shrouded in a gentle mist. The first actions you take are like the first rays of sunlight. If the first ray is the cold, blue, frantic light of your phone screen, it does not dissolve the mist. It churns it into a thick, anxious fog of comparison, worry, and obligation. You will then spend the rest of your day trying to navigate through this very fog you helped create. If, however, the first rays of light are the warm, golden rays of your own quiet presence, of your own gentle intention, they have the power to slowly, gracefully burn away the mist, revealing a clear, calm, and beautiful lake. You begin your day from a place of clarity, seeing the world as it is, not through a fog of second-hand stress. So, let us design a simple, sacred ritual. It does not need to be long or complicated. It needs only to be intentional. It begins in the very moment you realize you are awake. Before you move, before you open your eyes, practice the pause of return. Lie still for just a minute. Feel the warmth of your body, the weight of the blankets. Notice the gentle rhythm of your breath, the faithful friend that has been with you all night. In this moment, simply welcome yourself back. Say a silent good morning to your own body, to your own heart. Acknowledge the great journey you have just completed in the realms of sleep. While still lying in this quiet space, you can plant the seed of intention. Ask your heart a simple question. What quality do I wish to bring into the world today? Or, what do I need most today? Let a single word arise from the quiet. Perhaps the word is patience, or kindness, or courage, or presence, or grace. Do not overthink it. Trust the first word that comes. Let this word be your keynote for the day, your guiding star. Hold it gently in your heart for a few moments. You have now set your inner compass. When you feel ready, begin to move, but do so slowly, mindfully. As you swing your legs out of bed, feel your feet making contact with the floor. Feel the sensation of the ground beneath you, solid and supportive. Feel yourself grounding your energy back into the earth. Walk to your kitchen not as a zombie, but as a sovereign being, present in your own body. Now, we practice mindful hydration. Prepare yourself a glass of water. This is not just a biological task, it is a sacrament. Before you drink, hold the glass in your hands. Look at the water. Contemplate the miracle of this clear, life-giving substance that has traveled through mountains and clouds to reach you. Feel a moment of gratitude for it. Then, as you drink, do so slowly. Feel the cool liquid entering your mouth, soothing your throat, and traveling down into your body, hydrating and awakening every cell. In this simple act, you are honoring your body and starting your day with an act of conscious gratitude. Compare this to mindlessly gulping down water while simultaneously scrolling through a feed of bad news. The water is the same, but the energy you are taking in is worlds apart. The final and perhaps most crucial part of this ritual is the gift of unplugged time. Make a sacred promise to yourself to keep your phone off, to keep all screens dark, for at least the first 15, 30, or if you can manage it, 60 minutes of your day. This single act will radically transform the quality of your life. In this quiet, unplugged space, you can stretch, you can sit in silence, you can look out the window, you can listen to the sounds of the morning, you can connect with your partner or your children. You are giving yourself the most precious gift in the modern world, the gift of your own, undivided, peaceful attention. This sacred morning ritual is the bridge that allows you to carry the peace of the night into the landscape of the day. It is the crucible where your inner state is solidified before it is tested by the world. It is an act of profound respect for the healing you have undergone and a declaration of your intent to live a more conscious, peaceful, and centered life. And within this ritual, there is one energy, one particular ray of light that has the power to amplify this peace and set a tone of profound well-being more effectively than any other. It is the force that instantly shifts our perspective from what is lacking to what is abundant. It is the highest frequency we can inhabit. It is the resonant power of gratitude, and it is this power that we will now explore to make it the shining capstone of our morning practice. You are resting in the quiet sanctuary of your sacred morning. You have honored the journey of the night, and you have greeted the dawn with stillness and intention. The inner landscape is peaceful, the soil of your heart is soft and receptive. Now, into this sacred space, we will invite the sun. We will invoke the most powerful, life-affirming, and healing energy available to us. We will consciously strike the keynote of profound well-being that has the power to harmonize your entire day. This keynote, this inner sun, is the resonance of gratitude. For many of us, the mind is not naturally a grateful place. By virtue of our evolutionary programming, our brains are wired with a negativity bias. They are exquisitely designed to scan the environment for problems, for threats, for what is wrong, for what is missing. For our ancient ancestors, this was a crucial survival mechanism. But in our modern world, this same mechanism creates a chronic state of anxiety, dissatisfaction, and a pervasive sense of lack. It is the voice that says, "Yes, this is good, but..." It is the habit of focusing on the one tile that is cracked while ignoring the beauty of the entire mosaic. We live in a trance of scarcity, constantly striving for a future happiness while overlooking the abundant riches of the present moment. Gratitude is the great awakening from this trance. It is a conscious, deliberate act of rewiring your own brain. It is the training of your attention to scan for what is right, what is good, what is beautiful, what is already here. This is not a denial of life's difficulties. It is not a form of saccharine, false positivity. You do not have to pretend to be grateful for your pain or your struggles. Gratitude is the practice of acknowledging that even on the hardest of days, alongside the challenges, there coexists an entire world of grace that we habitually ignore. The warmth of the blanket on your skin, the taste of clean water, the fact that your heart is beating without any effort on your part, the sound of birdsong outside your window, the existence of music, of art, of love. Life is constantly offering us 1,000 reasons for joy, but we are often too busy looking for what is wrong to notice. The inner conflict is between the ego's mindset of scarcity and the soul's perception of abundance. The ego is a tireless accountant of deficits. It believes that happiness is conditional. I will be happy when I get the promotion, when I find a partner, when I fix my problems. It lives in a perpetual state of not enough. The soul, your deeper intelligence, knows that peace is not found in changing your circumstances, but in changing your perception. It knows that wholeness is not something to be achieved in the future, but something to be recognized in the now. Gratitude is the bridge between these two worlds. It is the conscious choice to shift your allegiance from the complaining mind to the appreciative heart. Think of gratitude as a resonant bell. Every time you genuinely feel a moment of gratitude, you are striking this bell. Its frequency is one of the highest, clearest, and most healing you can generate. This beautiful resonant sound vibrates out from the center of your being. Internally, its frequency has the power to shatter and dissolve lower, denser energies like resentment, fear, and sadness. It is impossible to feel genuine gratitude and bitter resentment at the same time. One cancels out the other. Gratitude is the ultimate spiritual antiseptic, cleansing your inner world of its toxic residue. And according to the great spiritual laws, this resonance also extends outwards. The frequency you broadcast attracts experiences of a similar frequency. When you inhabit a state of lack and complaint, you will notice more and more things to complain about. When you consciously cultivate a state of gratitude, you will find, as if by magic, that life begins to bring you more and more experiences for which to be grateful. You are tuning your entire being to the frequency of grace. You are becoming a magnet for miracles. This practice is the shining capstone of your morning ritual. It is simple, it takes only a few moments, but its effects are profound. The key is to move it from a mental concept to a fully embodied feeling. The mind can make lists, but the heart is what feels. As you are resting in your bed, or as you are sitting quietly with your glass of water, the practice is to find 3 specific, tangible things for which you feel grateful. Right now, the specificity is important. A thought like, I am grateful for my family is a nice idea, but it is too abstract. It doesn't land in the body. Instead, narrow your focus. I am grateful for the specific memory of my daughter's laugh yesterday. Or, I am grateful for the feeling of my partner's hand in mine. Don't just be grateful for your home. Be grateful for the way the morning light is slanting through your particular window right now, creating a beautiful pattern on the floor. Don't just be grateful for your health. Be grateful for the feeling of this one deep, clear breath filling your lungs. For each of the 3 things you choose, do not rush to the next. Linger with it. And here is the most important part. As you bring this image or thought to mind, ask yourself, where do I feel this gratitude in my body? And then listen. Perhaps you feel a warmth spreading in your chest. Perhaps you notice a smile naturally forming on your lips. Perhaps your shoulders soften, or you feel a sense of expansion in your belly. Locus the feeling. Let it become a physical sensation. Breathe into that sensation. Allow it to grow, to fill your entire body with its warm, golden light. You are not just thinking gratitude, you are being gratitude. You are marinating every cell of your body in this high, healing frequency. This is how you truly set the keynote for your day. You are programming your system to look for the good. You are starting your day from a place of fullness, not deficit. And when the challenges of the day inevitably arise, you will meet them from a completely different place. A heart that has been warmed by gratitude is more resilient, more compassionate, and more creative. It does not deny the existence of the storm, but it holds fast to the memory of the sun. It has a larger container in which to hold life's difficulties. As we consistently practice all that we have explored on this journey, letting go of the ego, embracing impermanence, releasing resistance, forgiving the past, and now, cultivating gratitude, a profound shift begins to occur in our fundamental self-perception. We start to see that this journey is not about fixing something that is broken. The very act of gratitude reveals the goodness and wholeness that is already present, that was simply obscured by the fog of our unconscious habits. We are not a collection of problems to be solved. We are not a broken vessel to be repaired. We are moving beyond a model of mere healing. We are awakening to the truth of our inherent wholeness. And it is this realization that we are not, and have never been, truly broken that is the gateway to the final stages of our journey. You have sat in the quiet temple of your own morning, and you have lit the lamp of gratitude. In its warm golden light, the world begins to look different. The sharp edges of lack soften, and the quiet beauty of the present moment reveals itself. This practice of gratitude does more than just brighten your day. It opens the door to the most profound realization of the entire spiritual path. It begins to dismantle the greatest illusion you have ever held, the illusion that you are broken. Our entire culture is built upon a subtle but pervasive model of self-improvement, which carries with it the tacit assumption that you are fundamentally flawed and in need of fixing. We are taught to be endless projects. We strive to become better versions of ourselves, to heal our wounds, to fix our flaws, to optimize our performance. We are on a perpetual quest to repair what we believe is broken. While the intention behind this is often noble, it is a journey without an end, a hamster wheel of self-analysis and striving. It keeps you forever focused on your imperfections, forever feeling slightly inadequate, forever chasing a future state of perfection that never quite arrives. But what if this entire premise is wrong? What if healing is not about adding something you lack or fixing something that is broken? What if it is about subtracting the layers of false belief and conditioning that obscure a perfection that is already, and has always been, present at the core of your being? This is the great turning point of the inner journey, the shift from a model of healing to a model of wholeness. It is the realization that you are not a shattered thing that needs to be painstakingly glued back together. You are, and have always been, fundamentally whole, pristine, and unbroken. The inner conflict we experience is between the identity of the project and the reality of the presence. The project self is the ego, the story of me with all its history, its wounds, its goals, and its insecurities. It is a tireless worker, always analyzing, comparing, and judging. The presence is the silent, aware space in which the entire project of you is unfolding. It is the sky of your awareness. All the practices you have learned on this journey, watching your thoughts, surrendering control, releasing resistance, forgiving the past, have not been about improving the project. They have been about shifting your identification from the temporary, turbulent story of the project to the eternal, peaceful reality of the presence that is witnessing it. You are the sky, not the clouds. Let this truth land in the deepest part of you. The trauma you experienced was a violent, dark storm that passed through your sky, but it did not break the sky. The seasons of grief, of anger, of anxiety, they are all weather patterns that arise and pass away. They can obscure the sky, they can rage within it, but they can never, ever stain, scar, or damage the sky itself. Your essence, this pure, open awareness that is you, is invulnerable. It was never born, and it will never die. It was perfectly whole before your life story began, It remains perfectly whole now, and it will be perfectly whole after the story is over. To realize this is to be set free. The goal is not to get rid of the clouds. The goal is to remember that you are the vast, untouchable sky. In Japan, there is an ancient art form called kintsugi. When a beautiful piece of pottery is broken, it is not thrown away. The pieces are carefully gathered, and they are mended back together using a special lacquer that is mixed with powdered gold. The finished piece does not hide its history of being broken. Instead, the cracks are transformed into intricate, beautiful veins of gold. The piece becomes more unique, more precious, and more resilient than it was before it was ever broken. The very lines of its trauma become its most celebrated feature. This is a perfect metaphor for the human journey to wholeness. You are not meant to erase your scars or pretend your wounds never happened. Through the alchemy of loving awareness, the compassion and wisdom you bring to your own pain, your scars become your golden seams. They are not marks of damage, but testaments to your resilience. They tell the story of a journey through hardship, a story of healing, a story of a heart that was broken open, not just broken apart. From this perspective, your past is not a source of shame, but a source of unique beauty and profound strength. You are not beautiful in spite of your wounds. You are beautiful because of the golden light of awareness with which you have illuminated them. Let us practice connecting with this unbroken essence right now. Close your eyes if they are not already closed. First, simply notice the flow of transient phenomena. Notice a thought drifting through your mind. Notice the sound of my voice. Notice a sensation in your body, an itch, a warmth, a pressure. Notice how these things are constantly changing, constantly appearing and disappearing. They are the clouds. Now, ask yourself this question. What is it that is aware of all this? What is aware of the thought? What is aware of the sound? What is aware of the sensation? Is the awareness itself thinking? Is the awareness itself itching? Or is it the silent, still, unchanging space in which all these things are noticed? Gently, let go of your focus on the objects of awareness, the thoughts, the sounds, the feelings, and for a moment, simply rest as the awareness itself. Feel yourself not as a body, not as a mind, but as the vast, silent, peaceful space in which your entire life experience is happening. It has no edge, no center, no form. It is pure presence. It is the feeling of I am, before you add any story to it, before I am John, or I am Jane, before I am a success, or I am a failure. Rest in this primordial sense of being. This is your true home. This is the unbroken self. It is here, right now. It has never been anywhere else. To realize your inherent wholeness is the ultimate fruit of all your inner work. It is the secret you have been searching for in every book, in every practice, in every moment of striving. You were never broken. You were only dreaming that you were. And now you are beginning to awaken. But this awakening is not an escape from life. It is not a graduation certificate that allows you to retreat from the world into a state of blissful detachment. It is the exact opposite. This realization of your own indestructible peace is the solid foundation from which you can now engage with the world more fully, more fearlessly, and more lovingly than ever before. The final question of our journey together is no longer, how do I fix myself? But how do I live from this place of wholeness? How do I build a bridge from this inner sanctuary to my outer life and learn to carry this temple of stillness with me wherever I go? You have journeyed to the very core of your being and have awakened to a profound truth. You are not, and have never been, broken. You are the silent, spacious, and indestructible sky, not the fleeting weather of your life. This realization is the most precious fruit of your inner work, a treasure of immeasurable worth. But this treasure is not meant to be buried. This peace is not meant to live only in the quiet darkness of your bedroom. The final and most vital stage of our journey together is to learn how to carry this newfound wholeness out of the sanctuary of the night and into the vivid, chaotic, and beautiful landscape of your waking day. For many who walk this path, this is the greatest challenge. In the stillness of our practice, we can touch a deep and abiding peace. We feel spacious, compassionate, and whole. But then the morning alarm rings, the demands of the day begin, and that peace can feel as if it evaporates like morning mist. The contrast between the silent temple of our inner world and the noisy marketplace of our outer life can be jarring. We find ourselves once again caught in the currents of stress, irritation, and distraction, and we begin to believe that our peace is a fragile thing, a delicate state that can only exist in perfect, quiet conditions. We begin to see the world as a threat to our inner sanctuary. This is a crucial misunderstanding. Peace is not a fragile state that must be protected from the world. It is a place of profound resilience and power within you that you can bring to the world. You have spent this entire journey not just visiting a temple on a distant mountain, but building that very temple within your own heart. The foundation was laid with the wisdom of non-resistance. The walls were raised with the steady practice of mindfulness. The inner sanctum was cleared and consecrated through the sacred act of forgiveness. The lamps were lit with the radiant energy of gratitude, and you have come to know the nature of the silent, loving presence that dwells within this temple, your own unbroken self. This temple is now a part of you. It is a portable sanctuary, and the ultimate practice is to learn that you can step inside it for a moment of refuge, at any time, in any place. Your core message is this: your inner state does not have to be a helpless victim of your outer circumstances. You do not need the world to be quiet for you to be peaceful. You can be peaceful in the midst of noise. You can be centered in the midst of chaos. You can be compassionate in the face of conflict. You do this by learning to continuously return to the temple within. You carry it with you like a quiet, internal lantern. The winds of the world will surely blow. People will be difficult. Plans will go awry. But they cannot extinguish the steady flame of your inner peace unless you forget it is there, unless you abandon your post as its gentle keeper. How then do we practice this in the midst of a busy life? We do it not through long formal meditations, but through the art of the micro-meditation, the sacred pause woven into the fabric of our day. These are small, conscious moments of return, anchors that pull us back from the frantic churn of the mind into the calm harbor of the present moment. Your simplest and most faithful anchor is your breath. You can access it anytime. Before you answer a ringing phone, pause. Take one conscious breath. Feel the air enter your body and leave it. Then answer. Before you send an important email, pause. Take 3 conscious breaths. Feel your body. Feel your mind settle. Then send it. When you feel a wave of frustration or anxiety rising, pause. Do not react. Simply bring your full attention to the sensation of one in-breath and one out-breath. In that single breath, which takes perhaps 3 seconds, you have stepped out of the reactive storm and into the quiet sanctuary of your inner temple. You have created a space between the stimulus and your response. And in that space lies your freedom. Your second anchor is your body. Your mind can travel 1,000,000 miles away into catastrophic fantasies, but your body is always, unfailingly, here and now. You can use this truth to call your awareness home. When you are waiting in a line, instead of pulling out your phone, feel your feet on the floor. Feel the solid ground beneath you, the pull of gravity. Feel yourself present and grounded in your own physical form. When you are driving and stopped at a red light, feel your hands on the steering wheel. Notice their warmth, their texture. In these simple acts of somatic awareness, you are pulling your energy out of the chaotic traffic of your thoughts and anchoring it in the simple, undeniable reality of your body. Your third anchor is your senses. The mind creates endless noise, but the senses, when used consciously, are gateways to the present moment. For 30 seconds, practice the art of just listening. Close your eyes if possible, and just listen to the soundscape around you without labeling or judging it. The hum of a computer, the distant sound of traffic, the chirping of a bird. Hear them simply as vibrations, as pure sensation. You have instantly stepped out of your mental narrative and into the living, vibrant world. Or, look at a single object with your full attention: a flower, a pen on your desk, a crack in the pavement. Look at it as if you have never seen it before. Notice its color, its texture, its form. In that moment of pure seeing, the chattering mind falls silent. The art of carrying your stillness is the art of weaving these sacred pauses throughout your day. It is about creating small, intentional rituals of transition. When you get in your car to go home from work, sit for 1 minute in silence before you turn on the engine. Let the energy of the workday drain away before you begin your journey home. When you arrive home, sit in the car for another minute before you go inside. Let go of the stress of the commute and set an intention to be present with your loved ones. These are not great, time-consuming acts. They are small, loving gestures of remembrance, tiny course corrections that keep you aligned with your own center. You have journeyed far. You began this journey feeling perhaps lost, overwhelmed, and at the mercy of your own restless mind. Now, you stand at a new beginning. You have learned to watch your thoughts like clouds, to accept reality with the grace of a reed in the wind, to listen to your body as a wise teacher. You have laid down the heavy sword of unforgiveness and lit the lamp of gratitude. And most profoundly, you have awakened to the truth of your own unbreakable wholeness. You possess the tools, you hold the map, you have built the temple within your own heart. The work is no longer to seek for peace, but to live from the peace you have found. The journey is no longer about becoming somebody new, but about courageously being the whole and beautiful self you have always been. This is not the end of your path. This is the true beginning. We began this journey together at the edge of the night, asking a simple question: what if the darkness you once feared was not an adversary, but a sacred canvas? What if the silence was not an emptiness, but a profound presence? Now, after walking the inner landscapes of the soul, you have discovered the answer not as an idea, but as a living experience. The darkness is a sanctuary. The silence is your home. Sleep is no longer an unconscious fall into forgetting, but a conscious surrender into remembering. It has become your nightly pilgrimage to the source of your own being, a return to the fertile ground where all healing and renewal are born. You have learned to sit quietly and watch the clouds of thought drift across the vast, peaceful sky of your mind. You have learned the grace of the reed, yielding to the river of life instead of struggling against its current. You have listened to the wise, silent language of your body, and you have bravely faced the messengers of your own pain, discovering their hidden gifts. You have laid down the heavy sword of old grievances, and in the space that was cleared, you have planted the radiant seeds of loving kindness. You have realized that you are the weaver of your own reality, and you have awakened to the profound, unshakable truth that your essential self is, and has always been, perfectly whole. These words, this voice that has guided you, were never the source of your healing. They were only ever a mirror, reflecting the light of the teacher that already exists within you. This journey was only ever a map. You are the one who took the courageous steps. The power was never in this audiobook. The power is, and always has been, in your own awareness, in your own willingness to turn inward and meet yourself with honesty and compassion. Trust this inner teacher. It is the wisest guide you will ever have. The sun will rise tomorrow, as it always does, but you will rise with it differently, not as a weary survivor of the night, exhausted from the inner battles you have fought, You will rise as one reborn from its quiet womb, carrying the stillness you have cultivated as a soft light within your heart. The peace you have found here is not a fragile memory. It is now a part of who you are. Carry it with you. Live it in your interactions. Be it in the world. The journey does not end here. It has just truly begun.